welcome to another episode of The Grindbin. I'm Mike Wood.
I'm reluctantly Chris Mann.
And I'm Bobby Trippett.
And today we're going to be talking about 1977's The Dragon Lives Again.
Send it back.
Hey, Bobby, I got the money.
Yeah, I made the team. But you're a hooker.
Get that goddamn thing out of your mouth.
What is setting knockers?
Spooky ain't got no real rhythm. We're gonna play a little game, baby.
I just love fun and games. Get a little girl all hot and horny.
This is Los Angeles.
How the hell would women live? I'm horny. And maybe Daddy wouldn't have had to kill himself because he couldn't get us up anymore.
What a shame.
Come on, just step on the gas before we get creamed. And more.
Reluctantly Chris Mann, huh?
It's a new thing I'm trying.
Yeah?
I want to try it on a bit.
Has
wear
the
it
bin
around.
really worn you down,
No,
Chris?
not at all. Not at all.
That is how Chris will be signing autographs moving forward. Reluctantly, Chris Mann.
Reluctantly yours.
No, because it takes too much
New
time.
podcast. Reluctantly, Chris Mann.
If Chris ever got to the point where he was signing autographs, I'm sure he would just be a one squiggle type of guy. He's not going to write a sentence.
Oh,
Like,
you've
he's just,
you've seen me on tour when those kids come up and it's just a little.
The old Nike swoosh.
I don't even look. Not even any eye contact.
You told me once that people are like, "Give me a guitar pick, give me," like they ask you for shit. Like when
For
you're sitting on stage, like, "Give me your scraps," you know, "Give me that used string."
Okay, I did have a moment. It was Vologda. No, where's this? Vologda, Russia, I think. And some kid was just standing there. I'm like, I was in a good mood. I'm gonna give someone a pick, flick it off. There was a moment of like, this is cool. And so I flicked the pick out, thinking it's gonna be cool. Someone's gonna catch it right on. And I watched and it trails off and it hits some kid in the eye who wasn't even looking at me. He's like, "Ow!"
He just looked away, like pointed towards the other guy. Like, it's a bass player.
Yeah.
So, Bobby, The Dragon Lives Again from one of our Patreons.
Absolutely. Patreon subscriber Richard Garcia suggested this to us. This was his pick. And, oh, man. Thank you so much for that.
And you told me something about where I can find Richard Garcia.
Yeah, absolutely. He's actually a very talented artist. I see him often at the various comic conventions that I go to. He, in fact, if any of our listeners are in the Southern California area, will be at Pasadena's Monster Palooza, April 13th through 15th. He's going to have a table there. Come say hi to him and fight him.
All right.
He'll
Well-
take on anybody. He doesn't give a fuck.
Dressed
Richard-
like Popeye, you know.
He gets a pass from me after that. So.
But thank you. We definitely appreciate your patronage. And I had fun with this movie. We obviously know Chris's opinion, so we'll get more into that. But guys, this is the reintroduction of a genre we thought we were done with. We thought would never, ever, ever, ever come back on the grind bin.
Fittingly so. It keeps coming back from the dead.
Oh, man.
It's like seeing that caller ID of your ex calling.
It's back. Bruce-ploitation.
Damn it.
The Bruce Lee after posthumous Bruce Lee movies where in China they're like, hey, everybody wants to keep seeing Bruce Lee, but he's dead, so let's just bring out his corpse and literally in this movie, bring out his corpse and make a movie. Am I right? Well, now we have a movie that's also known as The Deadly Hands of Kung Fu.
It's a decent title.
Better
used on a different movie, I would think.
I think that's its original name, actually, that it went by in either America or the UK. And then it's now The Dragon Lives Again, which makes more sense to call it The Dragon.
Right.
With Bruce Lee.
Deadly Hands lives again. It sounds like about a massage parlor where you get murdered or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would also call it Copyright Infringement, the movie. That's the title I would give it. Whatever the case number is for the American lawsuit against this, and you're telling me that apparently some company is planning on releasing this potentially as a Blu-ray?
I don't know for sure. I haven't heard any official press releases. This is very early, but I picked up a recent Blu-ray from Synapse, one of the boutique labels who recently put out the Suspiria Blu-ray. And in their booklets that they pack everything with, they have the coming soon. They have a title that says The Dragon Lives.
Oh.
And so, holy shit. I mean, I think there may be a chance we may see the lovingly restored version of this very film.
Oh, boy. Could you imagine being the guy who has to restore this?
No.
You want me to keep that text on the screen, or is that just, I guess that's part of the movie.
Do we have a version where the text is complete? Because it's kind of getting cut off by the sides here.
Oh,
Can you
God.
imagine that guy that has to edit all the text out to put in new text? Just like frame by frame rotoscoping. Oh, my God.
Damn it. Could you imagine if they're like, first time in America, the widescreen, see all the picture. Because, man, Pan and scan does not do the term justice. This is
No.
a full screen movie that literally pans in the middle of a shot where they're like, "Fuck, get it on screen."
And full disclosure, fans, we watched the official DVD release of this film, and it's
Complete
got
with tracking issues.
It's got way bad
yeah.
tracking issues. The
Yeah.
screen blipped blue a couple times, like
Yeah.
we're watching a video in high school. You know, when your teacher's just fucking tired and hungover, they're like, you know what, we're watching a video today. We're
Yep.
putting on The Dragon Lives Again.
An Airbud afterwards.
Or like Chris making a video for home. You know, he's making one of his student projects. Then all of a sudden it goes to blue tracking, and he runs to the VCR. Goes, no, we're not watching this part.
Actually, that's a pretty interesting thought. Do you guys remember what's the weirdest thing you've actually watched in high school on a video during one of my teacher's tired days? 'Cause I had experiences where people
Go
brought their
ahead.
own
It
tapes.
seems like
I know. I usually had
Oh,
a tape in my
boy.
backpack almost every day in high
Cool.
school.
That's cool.
I remember one time I took a study skills class with an old football coach who just sat and read the paper in the corner and had no lesson plan any day. And one of my, I almost said coworkers, one of my classmates, a guy named Luther, asked if he could watch Dead Presidents. The bank robbery
Yeah,
movie.
yeah.
And so we just sat in the corner and watched Dead Presidents for that
Cool.
entire period.
right.
I once brought an ECW videotape and was showing somebody, oh, this is Rob Van Dam.
Oh, and that's the Sandman. Don't mind the violence.
Yeah.
You know.
But the teacher didn't care.
It's like that story of the teacher, the substitute that brought in the ABCs of death to class.
Oh, boy.
And there was a big to do about that. And she brought it in. She was a substitute teacher for a Spanish class. And so did she think like it was just the alphabet and kids were going to learn?
What was it in Spanish?
Maybe.
Was it the Spanish?
Vientos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't know. Maybe it was a Spanish version where you learned the alphabet.
All right.
Yeah, like Santo showed up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Guys, this was actually released in the theaters apparently in the U.S. of the 15th of May, 1981. It just says New York City. That's it. So obviously we know the street.
Was it a
Absolutely.
peep show?
Yeah. Sandwiched in between certain pornos, you had this movie, which is kind of a borderline porno in a way.
Yeah, this movie gets a little sexy right off the bat. Might
I was
say.
like, you could make smut in China? Like that to me, I was like, huh.
That's your take home today, listeners. You can make smut in China.
Well, I didn't think so in the
For all we care.
70s, you know? Like I was like, huh.
Yeah.
I didn't know that, like,
The leash was quite tight. Back
yes,
then.
exactly. Like there are a lot of issues with
They weren't
making-
as freewheeling as they are nowadays over in China.
It seems like they were much more.
I mean, now they're shitting on each other's chests and filming it, and
The
It's a
opinions of
DVD
Chris
on
Mann do not
streams.
reflect the rest of the Grindbin Ltd.
Yeah, all three of our Chinese listeners, you know.
it's what I've seen. I mean, no.
The director of this movie and one of the three writers, Chi Lo, just a long time.
Yeah, from Gnarls Barkley.
Yeah. Just a long-
Chilo Green.
Just a long time director in China. You never heard anything that he's done. Not a single thing. I mean, I could sit here and try to read Chinese, which I'm sure everybody would just fucking love, but we're not going to do it. So the other writers, Shek K and Wei Lang,
Nailed it.
You know, again,
You're not gonna try.
nope, not going to try. Nothing
high
you've
energy,
ever heard
Mike
of.
Wood.
Yeah. Si Lung Luing, I believe that's how you pronounce it. I've
you
always
doing?
look. What I know is that if you pronounce a language you don't know just fast, it typically sounds right. You know, so if you just go Si Lung Luing, Bruce Lee, his stage name was Bruce Leong. You know, just to not upset the estate of Bruce Lee, I guess. I'm going to read you some stuff from his IMDb bio, which this guy has a very interesting past. You guys know anything about him? The guy who stars in this movie?
No, I don't know much.
No.
Well, trust me, you've seen him.
Really?
Yeah. So he was born in Hong Kong in 1948, and he just adopted the name Bruce eventually as his career went on. He was the eldest of 12 brothers. He obtained his martial arts training from his father, actually, who worked in the
kidding.
Cantonese opera. The American name Bruce was added when he took a shot at being one of the Bruce Lee clones. As we all know, there's another one from a past episode we've done in the 40s. I forget what the hell the movie's called, like The Legend of Bruce Lee or something, which stars Bruce Lee. And then Chris and I also found out that somebody by that name has also been arrested for fraud in China. So
That's right.
For impersonating Bruce Lee.
I don't know. But Bruce Lee, and somebody just took the name Dragon Lee, which is a little
There's
bit,
actually a pro wrestler called that right now.
and unlike other Bruce Lee lookalikes, they said he was compared to Bruce Lee and Jackie Chan for his effective martial arts, acrobatics, and laughable humor.
What's interesting about Bruce Leung is that I think compared to a lot of the other ones, he doesn't look that much like Bruce. He honestly,
they'll explain that.
He looks
Yeah.
more like the kid who hung out with the Ninja Turtles in Secret of the Ooze.
He did. Yeah,
Ernie Reyes
that
Jr.
guy.
Oh,
yeah.
man.
Kino.
Yeah.
Kino.
Kino.
Surf Ninja himself.
He looked a lot like Kino.
Yeah,
In fact,
I
the
can see
villain
that.
of this movie, which we will get to, looks a hell of a lot more like Bruce Lee than our protagonist, who's supposed to be Bruce Lee.
Yeah. So he tried his hand at a few Bruceploitation films. Not many, though. You had Bruce and the Iron Finger and...
You've seen that, right, man?
yeah, that's sandwiched in between this and the...
That was the double bill on 42nd Street. It was Bruce and the Iron Finger. You can watch both.
You talked about weird movies we've seen in school. Well, we're going to have to go to college for me.
Okay.
And in one of my college classes, which was cult film, one of the best classes I took, where we watched The Van in school.
I can't believe you got to watch.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah. We watched The Van. We watched all sorts of great movies. My teacher, who you can actually find him in a bunch of documentaries. Was in the that one where they buried all those E.T.
Motherfuckers,
video
because you and I
games.
were going to do a documentary on that exact same thing.
You were going to go dig it up?
My professor was interviewed in that, so
Oh,
you can find it
motherfucker.
out. He's written a whole book about it, but he had arranged for the whole class to meet at the New Art Theater to go see a screening of a movie, a Japanese exploitation movie that was made in the 2000s. Wow. He had to apologize the next class because even in a college class, he was like, this was a little bit further than I expected. It was about a Japanese hooker who had the finger of George Bush, the severed finger of George Bush, haunt her at night and finger her in her dreams, and she becomes like a American patriot and starts like taking out people in Japan and like, you know, shoving flags through people and all sorts of things. One of the craziest things I've ever fucking seen. So
Wow.
you asked me one of the weirdest movies I've seen. I don't even remember what it's called, but look it up. Just put in Japanese hooker gets fingered by George Bush, and you'll find it.
That's on Pornhub, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He got his start actually acting with a famous Chinese producer, which is, I don't know how you pronounce NG period. I don't know what that means. But Si Yun, who produced Jackie Chan's Snake in the Eagle's Shadow and Drunken Master, produced
Solid. Those
a
are
lot of
both
movies that this guy was in, including his first breakout role, which was called Little Superman in the early 70s. So here's the thing. There's also a rumor about the guy that started this movie that he really got public fame because apparently he kicked 13 armed attackers' asses.
Shit.
Like in the streets one day when
Like
people
legit.
attacked him. Yeah. They were like, yeah,
13
rumor has
people
it-
tried to jump him?
Yeah. Rumor has it he took down a whole gang.
Was it the triad that killed Bruce? They were trying to...
Maybe.
They thought they maybe failed the first time?
Either that or like maybe they didn't get that it was like a Universal Studios stunt show type of presentation and people were like, I heard that was real. You know, who knows?
He walked through a stunt show and wailed on everybody?
Yeah, he thought it was real. Like some guy broke a sugar glass bottle over his head and he took it a little too far.
He thought he was God because it didn't hurt.
Maybe I really am Bruce Lee, you know? So, guys, he worked steadily throughout the 70s and into the 90s and then suddenly disappeared.
Whoa.
He was gone for 2 decades. And people
Was he hanging out with
today,
trash from the Bronx Warriors?
Very interesting story, actually. People thought, like, they didn't know what happened to him. And they found out that he actually lived in Taiwan, and his work was banned in China. And when he went to China to try and negotiate with the Chinese government on unbanning his work, they said no. He went back to Taiwan, and they're like, well, you're a traitor. And so then he couldn't get cast in anything, Chinese or movies in Taiwan. So he was basically blackballed until 2004. Stephen Chow put him in Kung Fu Hustle. He's the main villain in that
really?
movie.
That's awesome.
Cool.
He plays the Beast. And if you look up a picture of him, he's like that guy that looks like a frog or something like that. It's very weird, but you look at it and you go, oh my God, it's the same guy. So he made his comeback, and now he's in
Cool.
movies thanks to Stephen Chow, which
That's
is
fantastic.
actually China's most famous filmmaker.
Stephen Chow's great. Everything he's done has been gold.
Did you know one of his movies nobody knew this, but there was a movie, it's the third highest grossing movie of last year was called like The Mermaid. It's a Stephen Chow movie.
Really?
In the whole world, the third highest grossing movie was a Chinese movie made by him. So he's still kicking ass over there.
Good call. Yeah, good for him.
Kung Fu Hustle hit big here. I never saw The Mermaid come out here. I've
Yeah, I
seen
don't think
God
we
of
got a release
Cookery,
for
all
that.
sorts of great stuff.
Seen Shaolin Soccer? That thing's awesome.
Hell yeah, have that movie.
Fuck
yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
So guys, we get into the movie, and I write, well, I guess we're starting strong because it's like a Bond movie.
Yeah. Well, first we have if you squint real hard, you can see the dedication. This film dedicated to millions who love Bruce Lee.
Is that what they had to put? They're like, for legal reasons, we gotta.
This is a tribute.
Okay, we're just gonna get into it. When I said this movie could be called copyright infringement, the movie, wow. So China, as we know, has a bad reputation of ripping off things like making counterfeit jeans and all sorts. Apparently, they were making counterfeit movies, like legit productions, because what they did in this movie is take a bunch of American characters.
Well, not just
God.
American.
Well, you're right. You're
Famous
right.
pop culture figures from around the world of the 70s.
Okay, but here's the thing. They also have famous pop culture figures, but then also people, like actual people.
Historical people.
And some of them, they just do titles of things. Like, there's a man in this movie who's called Exorcist, and he's supposed to be the priest from The Exorcist.
You mean he's the exorcist from The Exorcist?
Yeah, but they're like, we don't know that guy's name, so we're just going to call him Exorcist. Like,
Excuse
that
me,
was his name,
Exorcist.
right?
And it's just a Chinese man in a priest costume.
Yeah.
And they're like,
They're
hey,
like, good enough. That's
okay.
Exorcist.
And this might be a thing, because I'm pretty convinced that the English dub of this movie, they had no idea what was going on in this movie.
This was in the Marvel fashion.
Yeah, they're just like,
Stan Lee worked out this one.
oh boy, this is a real clusterfuck. They're like, does that guy, he looks like the Exorcist, right? Fuck it, let's call him Exorcist. I don't know, like, okay, again, you said a movie company's potentially going to release this. How? There's so much copyright infringement. Like, there's so many characters.
Well, like,
that you-
what countries can you release this in, really, after all is said and done?
Did anybody else hear when they started playing the song Kung Fu Fighting?
Yeah.
It's a great moment when they chose to do it.
And you're like,
And it's only for a moment. It's like, you can do X amount of seconds before you have to pay for it.
yeah,
all you get is the
cut.
and then
that's it. It's like in the middle of the cut. Got it. Come at me. Or when they play James Bond's theme, which they're like,
which is like
no.
one note off to make sure.
And you could tell there was that Vanilla Ice, courtroom where he's like, no, it's like da 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 da. That's not the same. It's not the same. As you can see, B flat, not B sharp. So there is,
And so we kind of open the film with a montage of Bruce squaring up against a bunch of our favorite fictional characters. He's got Dracula in there, and he's got James Bond in there.
okay. So he has Dracula.
Yeah.
But I'm sure you guys noticed, was there ever a point in history when Dracula was in gray face? Or at the beginning of this movie, it looked like blackface, which I was like, okay. At this point, I'm very troubled.
It looked kind of similar to Toho over in Japan did the Bloodthirsty trilogy, which is a series of vampire movies. Lake of Dracula being the most significant one, and it looked very similar to that. They were trying to ape the Christopher Lee Hammer look on a budget.
I was gonna say I don't remember Christopher Lee.
And so it's like
Painting his face for
it's like when you make a copy of a copy.
Yes, I'm
These
not going to
guys
do
are
that.
aping what was already aping the Hammer movies, and so eventually, if you keep making photocopies, shit just gets blurry and gray.
Yeah. Therefore, perfect. I like that. I like that a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a weird one to me. I'm like,
Yeah.
Also, Dracula's henchmen are basically Cobra Kai. Just a bunch of dudes in like skeleton bodysuits.
You mean that they're gonna make some sort of YouTube special like 30 years from now?
Yeah, absolutely. It was a cross between the kids from Cobra Kai and the Putty Patrol.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
I put it as like overall, I just started to come to the conclusion that they robbed a prop house, and they're like, whatever we find inside is ours.
This didn't look like a movie so much as a variety show. Like I needed
see
a host
that.
off to the side, just like
see that.
introducing, and then out comes.
I really don't know how to explain this movie other than it's a series of like video game fights, but they only like it's a cheap video game, so they only have one level.
Yeah.
Which is the problem. Is that like they had a set for a town, like some sort of Wizard of Oz type of set.
Yeah.
But then they also were like, well, also we can film in this desert in front of this rock wall.
And there's a great moment coming up at one point in the film where a fight starts on Chun-Li's Street Fighter level, and then they literally run off camera, and now we're in the desert.
Yeah, and that's it. Like,
where's the zoning here?
Wait,
like,
what?
oh yeah, and
It was kind of like in New Year's Evil when suddenly we're at a playground.
Yeah.
That's apparently next to an alleyway.
wherever they had filmed that town that they use, the background is that of like Small World. Like it's just like a brightly orange colored background. Like doesn't even try to make it look like a sky. It looks like the set of a children's TV show in China. And they're like, you're not using it this weekend, right? We can film here. And they're like, yeah. And they're like, we can use your props, right? We can also like fuck shit up and ruin signs and everything. Yeah, you'll be fine, you know.
Just to mention real quick before we move past it, in one of those montage moments at the very beginning before we even get into the film itself, you see Bruce grab Dracula and the Exorcist priest by the dick simultaneously.
Dutch Rudder, huh?
And Bruce Lee grabbing Dracula and a priest by the dick is like the start of a bad bar joke.
Yeah. I like it. So, and then this is really, I'm like, did they add this into the American thing? Because all of a sudden a gong plays and now we're into the movie and I'm like, oh boy. Oh boy. Because as we know, you know, just like we're going to bring him back because obviously this movie was also found, you know, basically on the back of a boat coming from China, and they're like, we got a bunch of movies, you want to buy them? And Mr. Crown's down by the dock bidding on them, going like, yeah, whatever. I mean, I'll take whatever junk you got. We'll make it into something. And we all, as we know, they don't have a translation. They don't hire a Chinese guy to work at Crown International. They just call in that delivery boy and try to have him read the menu, and they're going to figure out what these people are saying. You got to add a gong in there, because how else are we going to know where we are if you don't have a gong?
It's true.
So we hear a gong, boom, we're in China. It's like, see, you don't even need China to be on the screen. Like the text saying China or Beijing or anything, I know. You know, just that sound. Because I'm American.
And that chopstick font.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
The chopstick font, a gong sound, my American ears and eyes, I'm like, I know where I am. You guys don't go to Chinese restaurants and they gong you when you walk in? Get you in the mood?
No.
You leave a big tip. It's like 3 gongs before you leave.
That's how you do your Yelp rating?
Yeah.
I give this 3 gongs.
3 gongs. Oh my god.
Well, when they receive it at their restaurant, they get that app. It's you know, they get the review and the fireworks go off on top of the restaurant, and it's like a New Year's thing they do. Like a parade breaks out. And
Man.
Oh boy. You remember like back in like, what was it, 2000 something, when they made Jackass 2 and they went to Japan and they were gonging everybody on the street, and I'm like, man, that doesn't hold up today. Like just
unlike
a few
the rest
years
of
later.
Jackass.
Yeah. All right, so I write as my next note, what I'm seeing, I can't. It's hard to explain.
I'll explain how we open this film. We open on a shot of Bruce Lee's corpse under a sheet, sporting a massive visible erection.
Yep.
yeah.
And well, we don't know it's Bruce Lee at first.
We just know that there's a dead body with a big old dick.
And a bunch of guys running around going like, who's here? What are we doing here? And I'm like, yeah, what are we doing here? Because I don't fucking know. And neither do the people dubbing it. They're like, why is that guy with the heart on laying on that bench? You know, he kind of looks like Bruce Lee. Does he look like Bruce Lee to you? Not really, boss. Have you seen Bruce Lee? Or no?
Oh, it's like it's gonna be one of these movies. As soon as I saw that boner, I'm like, oh no.
Do explain.
It's just a guy lying on a fucking gurney with a heart on through like a white sheet.
Yeah,
A
cloth.
cartoonishly big.
Yeah, it's like comically
That
big.
guy's got like a 15-inch hog.
Yeah,
Because this is an interesting thing to me, man. There's never been a point in my life where I've seen a movie where a guy has a hard on under a sheet, and I go, "It's one of these." That to me is not
It's
not a term.
What? You know a ghost boner movie when you see one.
yeah. I guess just the theme we're going. This is the mood.
That,
we're going,
if you
like,
haven't seen that
fuck.
recent indie film, A Ghost Story, it's all about that.
Yeah.
Wow.
As we talked about, you know, they never showed if the ghost got a boner. That would have been a good one.
It's true. And so we come to find that we are in the underworld. And
through very vague
Yeah.
symbolism and vague.
Okay, the
exposition.
messy dubbing. They're like, yeah, I'm some sort of king or something, and then like the camera's like jerking over to his face at one point.
So Chinese Hades, the king of the underworld, comes in wearing like a beaded curtain hat.
Yeah,
Which is pretty fun. You get
And
to look
again,
at the entire
how he's
world like it's the
introduced.
adult section of the video store.
Yeah.
How he's introduced, by the way, is like, again, this movie needed to be done, cut, dubbed, and in the theater by tomorrow. So they're editing it in real time, recording the voices in real time, because he's like, you can't see the guy, pan over, fuck it. And he's like, takes the editing equipment and pans it over himself. And then he's like, should we go back and no, we don't have time.
The
Just
same
go.
stopwatch used on the music cues was used in the editing room.
And cut it. Kung Fu. Yeah, we got it.
They'll get it.
And so that's when we actually get the kung fu fighting part that we talked about, because we close in and we close in on bugs crawling on Bruce Lee's dick to the sound of Carl Douglas's kung fu fighting.
Yeah. Which is what I always thought of every time I hear that song. Bugs on a dick.
And I should remind you all at this point that this film is dedicated to millions who love Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
Bugs are beginning to form on his corpse to kung fu fighting.
You know what they thought, Bobby? I think they're like, you know what they think? And here's the thing. There's a lot of Bruce Lee movies for men, but there aren't enough for the ladies. All right? So we're going to go for a little bit of a double trouble. We're going for the men and the ladies, and also the other men who like a men. That's what we're going for in
That's
this
what this
one.
show stands for.
And as you know, hard then soft. You gotta get you a little soft before we get you aroused again. So show some bugs on that dick, you know.
Hey, put some bugs on that dick.
Yeah. You know, just show a man like don't get too aroused because it's gonna come back to haunt you at some point.
Do you think guys after they saw this were like to their girlfriends, you want to take a nunchuck to the face tonight? You know what I mean?
Chris, it's weird you say that because there's a lot of like, oh Bruce, I want you to beat me with your weapon. And
yeah.
it's like,
Uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that. So yeah, this is where we acknowledge the fact that this guy doesn't look like Bruce Lee.
Well, before that, Bobby, we
Please.
acknowledge that he has a heart on because somebody says the king says he's still standing. You should kneel before the king. Yeah. Hey, get in a hot on joke, right? Because that's what that is under that sheet, right? It's a dick. It's the Bruce Lee dick, the famous. Again, they go on and on about it, like how they're like, man, did you ever hear about how Bruce Lee had the biggest dick of all time?
An
I'm like,
unbelievable amount
no.
of time is spent in this film discussing Bruce Lee's dick.
Like it's an odd. Like, again, it must just be like what these ladies all love that Bruce Lee dick or something, right? Like, is that a law? Like,
Which is
he's
funny
like,
because that I've never heard that about Bruce.
not a single time.
We're going to go ahead and avoid racial stereotyping here, but I've never once heard that.
God.
We are
Like Bruce Lee was known for a lot of things. No one has ever spoken about that.
What are you looking at me for?
The views of Bobby Trippett are not those of the crowd.
I said I'm not going there with it. Yeah, we have a character come in, and this is all in this very quick amount of time. We discover that his face doesn't look like Bruce Lee. We have some characters that were discussing his sexual prowess and the size of his penis talk about the fact that in the afterlife, often your face changes. Why? Fuck it.
Again, though, this could be a case of like in America they called him Bruce Lee, and they were just like, doesn't that guy kind of look like Popeye? Maybe we call him Popeye.
Oh, fuck.
You know, it's like he kind of looks like Bruce Lee, and there's a guy running into the office with a picture going like, he doesn't look this. He doesn't even look like him at all. He's like, but he is kind of like Bruce Lee, and they're like, why don't we have a character say, when you go to hell, your face and your body changes, so that maybe we can get around. He's all right, fine. Nobody's gonna know if you just call him Bruce Lee.
I love that
Nobody
though.
will know.
Your face and your body. You're like, he doesn't. In no way does this guy look like Bruce Lee. I might as well have played it.
He's like, nobody's gonna come to the theater with a headshot of BruceLee saying it doesn't look like
Which
him.
is
all
funny
right?
you say
Shut
that,
up.
Mike, because there is a scene later in this film where our lead, Bruce, is acting in front of a poster of Bruce Lee.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, well, there you have it.
No one bats an eye there.
You know, it would have been good if they were like, no, it's the other BruceLee. You know what I mean? Like, you find out like he wasn't the famous Bruce Lee.
This is
He's
Bruce
like,
Lee lives again.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
just like, who are you talking about, Bruce Lee? I'm just the,
This is the other one.
Yeah.
This is the one who died slapping a cobra.
Yes.
oh boy. All right, what a way to honor Bruce Lee's death by having his corpse with a raging heart on a deathbed.
And just
Like,
everyone sitting around talking about it.
Yeah.
And so we discover in this scene now, the sheet comes down, and they realize it's not his hog. It's his nunchucks.
Dick chucks.
It's his dick chucks.
Yeah. Every guy worth his salt keeps a pair of nunchucks in his pants, like that's how you do it.
We've always said that.
Yes.
So the king of the underworld decides to have his guards go beat him with sticks.
Yeah.
And so we have the guards breaking sticks over Bruce Lee's dead body. This film is dedicated to the millions who love Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
We have people literally beating his corpse,
Desecrate his corpse.
until they break. Yeah. However, it wakes him up.
Yeah.
And we finally see Bruce Lee return.
And it's like, again, the American dumbers are like, what is going on? And he's like, I don't know. It's just weird. He's like, just have him say that. And he wakes up and he goes, you're weird. No, you're weird. No, you're weird.
That's all we need.
And it's like, okay, yeah, this is weird. And then some guy has a dinosaur mask on in the
I
background.
noticed that.
is
Like,
I
what the fuck was that?
I loved that.
Again, they robbed the prop house.
Yeah.
Like they got whatever they could. They're like, put this on.
It's just dudes in like druid cloaks with different animal masks.
I mean, I would believe that dinosaurs be in hell, right?
Right. Yeah.
Put it on.
You know what? They're having that orgy from The Shining.
Yeah.
We're all putting on weird masks and blowing each other down here.
It's just like that part in The Shining.
It's just like that part with the dick chucks.
Just do yourself a favor and look up weirdest scene from The Shining. There's a specific there's hundreds of YouTube videos that just have that scene.
Just that moment?
Yes. Because the other day, actually, Molly, my wife, was watching The Shining, and she was like, I don't remember this part where there's a guy getting blown by a guy in a bear costume. And I'm like, oh, yeah, go ahead. Look it up on YouTube. Nobody gets
blink
it.
and you'll miss it.
Nobody
Same
knows
thing
it.
as no one remembers Dan Aykroyd getting a blowjob by a ghost. in
Everybody
Ghostbusters.
remembers that. Best part of the movie, am I right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Dan remembers it really happening.
That was in his rider, right?
Yeah.
Like he
I
demanded
get blown
it.
by a ghost.
Yeah. Like, I gotta get a ghost blowjob.
That's why Patrick Swayze wouldn't let him in his movie.
A ghost job.
The ghost job.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we all know what the real Ghostbusters 3 was going to be, Chris, and Bill Murray smartly didn't sign off on it.
For all you new metal kids out there, Slipknot reenacts that scene from The Shining in one of their music videos.
Oh, well, there you go.
They're pretending to blow each other.
It makes sense that that's the one scene Slipknot will remember from that movie. So, isn't that great? So then we learned the king has a pillar.
Okay, that's where I was going to go to. Please.
That can destroy the world. He's like, look, if I hump this pillar, because every time it shows him, he's not pushing it.
No, he just kind of rubs up against it.
He rubs it with his crotch a little bit.
If he hits it with his nunchucks.
Yeah, with his dick chucks.
This pillar is made simply to create earthquakes around the world up above the underworld. And it shakes so violently, it actually knocks some of the dumb masks off of his guards behind him. All
right. If you're dead, what does it matter if you die again?
Yeah, that is another problem I had. Like, what's after death?
Yeah, it's like, no, I'll destroy you and the world.
And
like he's threatening to destroy the living people up above.
Yeah, fuck it, I'm dead. Who cares?
Yeah,
this is why you'll never
come
be Bruce.
down and hang out with me.
You bring yeah, that's right. You bring your friends down.
Yeah.
Just go, fuck it.
Form like a psychomania cult.
Exactly.
Now you're speaking my language.
See, this is what I'm talking about.
I'll get you a frog necklace.
Okay, so where are we? Is this hell? Is this like
I think
limbo?
it's
where
a
the fuck
purgatory
are we?
because people mention hell, so this isn't hell.
But
they talk about hell like it's elsewhere.
Yeah, and
they say the word they use is underworld, and that's it.
Yeah. So I think you kind of just hang out down there until they figure it out.
Until your number is up, and then you have your appointment with whoever.
It's very Beetlejuice.
It's very bureaucratic. Yeah.
It's
like there is no heaven or hell.
confusing.
You just kind of hang out down here, and it's set up just like a city.
Yeah,
like you can go get lunch. People have jobs in the afterlife.
Because so I guess death is just China. And is that some sort of political commentary or something? Like, what is going on?
Because Bruce decides, fuck it, I'm going to go get some lunch.
Like, can you imagine in America, they're like, Jesus Christ, this must be hell, right? And he's like, no, sir, I think it's just China. He's like, well, that seems like hell to me. Let's just do that. Because there's all these dead characters.
And I gotta tell you, from the next scene when he goes out into the city, I guess Chinese afterlife has a population problem.
Yeah. Okay.
That's accurate. Yeah.
It is crowded.
Yeah.
Which I guess makes sense
Just
for all
like
the people
real
who died.
China.
Well, they only. Over there when you're dead, it's like one abortion for family. You're allowed. You got to keep the population down.
Also, okay, so in the land of the dead, you still have to eat and I guess have a job and make money. It's like, well, fuck this.
What was the point of my suicide?
Yes, it's like, God damn it, there's more pressure in the afterlife. Like,
That's figures.
like
It's just more shit.
we all just hope, we know it's not real, but that one day when you go to that sweet, sweet afterlife and you gotta work. Like, fuck that shit.
You mean it's just like this, but I have to see all my old family members? God damn it.
You mean I got to go to college all over again? They're like, oh, your degree doesn't translate down here.
Gotta repeat these credits. So this is when we start meeting officially some of our pop culture characters.
Okay, now who is this person eating with Popeye?
My understanding is it's supposed to be Kane from Kung Fu.
Oh, okay, because I was like, that's Indiana Jones.
I thought it was
and I'm
like a cross
Then I
between-
looked up the year and I'm like,
Well,
Indiana Jones was not a
the
thing.
the Wikipedia mentions it as Kane.
I just wrote him as Indy because literally it's the costume for Indiana
Yeah,
Jones.
he's got the hat and
like
a scarf.
the fucking
and-
hat. Like
yeah.
he even has like the satchel.
Yeah.
Like you almost expect him to come out with a whip at some point.
Right.
It's probably the. I didn't watch a lot of Kung Fu as a kid, but it's the maybe the poorest representation of all the fictional characters in this movie.
Yeah, that's why I thought I was
Everyone
like,
else is
that-
pretty spot on.
I'm like, that's Indiana Jones to me. And I'm like, fuck you, Lucas. Fuck you, Spielberg.
They just watched this.
They're like, hey, George, we should just take that guy,
Oh,
if they're going to
God.
copyright, why can't we? We're
So,
bringing it back.
If you're wandering around the underworld and you see Kane from Kung Fu hanging out with Popeye, you no longer think you're dead, right?
Okay, again, we're talking about fictional characters that exist
That's what I'm saying.
in a
Like, so
hellscape.
in this universe, we're
Yeah.
establishing that Popeye was a living man who
Yes.
has died.
yeah.
Real Bluto killed him.
Yeah.
That would have been great if Bluto showed up.
It's a more realistic Popeye. Like, he punched Bluto once and Bluto murdered him.
So Popeye and Indiana Jones are having a drinking contest. And then we cut to some guy catching flies with a chopstick. So
This
is this supposed
is
to be...
Zatoichi.
Yeah, the blind,
swordsman.
He catches a fly with his chopsticks.
He's doing a real Ralph Macchio.
Yes, and he puts it in his food, and then he says to the waiter, he's like, hey, what about these
There's a
fucking,
fly in my soup.
Yeah, he says something like, I'm going to report you to the Bureau of Cleanliness or something. It's like, what the...
Where's
Jesus.
that movie, by the way?
Yeah.
We're gonna discuss the Bureau of Cleanliness in the afterlife.
Again, this is the American dubbers being like, I don't know why he would do that. Why he would put the fly in his food. Like, does he want it for free? Or... I don't know. I don't know how things work over in China, but I heard they're pretty strict about this shit. So, I don't know, Bureau of Cleanliness or something. Who knows? Like, I don't know. This movie, again, it has to be out in the theaters in a day. So, we got to just plow through this and get something on there. Because these whole scenes, nothing makes sense.
Nothing sticks. There's no continuity
Yeah.
to anything whatsoever.
Inexplicably, Zatoichi attacks Bruce.
Yeah,
Also,
it's like
okay.
He whips a chopstick at him,
Chopsticks, yeah,
and
what's
it
up with
embeds
that?
in the wall next to him.
He also does that thing where he stumbles, like, for one second, he can't see and stumbles into a table.
Well, no, the whole time he can't see, but he's doing like the
Yes, but
almost
he
like a
can-
drunken master thing. He's pretending that he
Yeah.
is helpless.
And he stumbles into a table, and he's like, oh, if he's feeling the dick chucks, and he's stroking them, and you're like,
Yeah.
It-
Here we
what's
go.
going on?
Well, I hope that ends up being a GIF on our social media. Him stroking the dick chucks.
Yeah, he rubs Lee's dick chucks for a while, and then he walks off.
Hey, next time our listener Chuck recommends a movie we don't like, we'll refer to that as stroking the dick chucks. Hi, Chuck.
So you're right. He throws those chopsticks, and they get stuck in the dick chucks.
It's something.
Man.
Well, we need to see the Zatoichi. Ain't no pushover, man. And if you've ever seen a Zatoichi movie, that's the truth.
Yeah.
Those movies are cool as shit.
And then I write, I don't know, is what I write.
Okay.
Is because the waiter
Excellent
comes
note,
up
Mike.
and goes, well, this is what happens, okay? The waiter comes up and goes, hey, you better watch out because James Bond and Clint Eastwood are coming here to get you.
Yeah, he said
I'm
that
like,
The Godfather has private bodyguards. One
I'm
is
like,
James
I'm sorry,
Bond and the other's Clint Eastwood.
I'm sorry, The Godfather? Like, who?
Like, wait.
What? Hold on.
You're just naming
Like,
things.
the
You're not
book?
even. Yeah. All right, so the
Are we talking about the book, the movie, Al Pacino?
and when
What
we
do you
do
mean The
when we do
Godfather?
meet the Godfather, he ain't Brando. It's
No.
it's the one
Oh,
from
fuck
the
no.
book apparently.
It's like, huh? Like, is that just Mario? Or it's Francis Ford Coppola? What do you mean?
And one thing I
again,
love, too,
I
is
don't
that-
think his name was the Godfather. I think they're like, who's that guy? Does he look like a Godfather? It's like the Godfather? I don't know. Put it in because that's also a property we can use.
because when we do meet him, he's
Yeah.
in like a white jacket.
Yeah.
You know, he's not dressed like he's not doing any kind of Godfather. He's just like this dude. He might as well be just like James Bond. And he looks like Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
You know what I just figured out? This is the original Ready Player One.
Yes.
It really is.
Absolutely.
This is Chinese Ready Player One, and America ripped it off. They're like, "Ha! You stole all our properties years ago. Now we're gonna throw it back at you."
And what I also love too is that the people who did the dubbing on this, and the people who put this movie together, don't know what to call that character from Fistful of Dollars and The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
Yeah.
So, the guy Clint Eastwood plays, fuck it, we'll just call him Clint Eastwood.
Call that guy Clint. That guy. I don't know his name. I know that's James Bond.
Like they haven't seen it, so they don't even know to call him the man with no name.
Yeah, they're like, and that guy just call him Clint Eastwood. But he's still alive, sir. I don't care.
No, he's Clint Eastwood.
How do you know?
You see him down there doing the other Clint Eastwood roles too, in between the scenes.
Makes no sense.
He's
He's alive and he's there.
He's
Why?
he's Harry Callahan walking around. At one point, he's just talking to a chair.
Yeah, I mean, again, this is what I write. One is a fictional character and another is a not dead actor. Like you're mixed. You can't even get what we're doing right. Like.
When you have rules in your cinematic universe, you have to abide by them. And here, there are several rules to several universes, or univi, if you will.
This is the gloves are off, Chris.
Yeah.
This is whatever flies, I guess.
Oh God.
We are through the looking glass here, people.
So I read a fight scene ensues as
With
Eastwood,
Cobra Kai.
Yeah, Eastwood and Bond show up, and they have.
And
Okay,
Bruce
now-
starts tripping balls.
Bobby, this is when I said, okay, I think I get it. This is Mulholland Drive. This is just some guy's masturbatory fantasy, and at one point we're gonna wake up and he's jacking off. It's like you
He's
know what it
stroking
is?
his dick chucks.
It's a teenage boy stroking his dick chuck, and his mom's gonna walk through the door at the end of the movie. She goes, "What are you doing?" It's, I'm not doing anything. I'm practicing my nunchucks.
No, the guy with the flashlight comes into the theater. and he's, sir, the
Sir.
movie's over, sir.
I
You
was
need
like,
to take your
convinced.
raincoat back out onto 42nd Street.
I was convinced at that point. That would have been the perfect meta ending, Bobby.
Oh, totally. Way to spoil Mulholland Drive, by the way.
Oh, come on. You haven't seen a movie from 2001.
No.
You'll never see it. So that's just that's why
And-
that stuck with me, I guess, though.
Interestingly enough, Clint Eastwood knows martial arts in this movie because he throws a wicked kick that takes Bruce out while he's tripping.
Nobody cares. Nobody knows this, okay? Everybody knows him as an action star. He knows how to throw a kick, all right? It's the same thing.
Third
Punch,
degree
kick,
black
whatever.
belt, Clint Eastwood.
Yeah,
He learned it
whatever.
from that monkey.
Is this pre or post Eastwood monkey picture?
When was that? Was that like
knows?
76? I think
Eastwood
it might be
with an
right
8.
in the middle of it. Eastwood's hanging out with a chimp.
Him and the chimp.
Yep. Check out our
Yeah, check out our Patreon on Me and the Chimp.
episode, Me and the Chimp.
$2 a month. You can hear more of this. I just read the whole world's a complete mess. That's when I first came up with my theory that it's either Mulholland Drive or they just robbed a prop house.
And I gotta tell you, I'm appreciating how fucking strange this is.
This is beyond.
I guess it rubbed me the wrong way because it was too much for me.
That's
You
fair.
rubbed
Too
your
much.
dick chuck the wrong way?
Yeah.
It rubbed your earthquake pillar
Yeah,
the
it
wrong way?
was just
No
too
lube.
much.
It was just straight dry, right?
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, I was just up against that wall.
But
Just my neck was being pressed with an elbow and just.
This is just rubbing your dick chuck up. Dick chuck.
Your
up
dick chuck.
against up against a brick wall, right?
Yeah.
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 You know what though? For all that Mike and I clearly enjoyed this, I get why you wouldn't.
Yeah.
I totally understand either
Yeah.
side of that argument for this movie.
It's got to be like slipping into a jacuzzi. I got to be slow, and I can enjoy it. Get the warmth, get acclimated. I just can't jump in,
You can't go cannonball.
or else you're
in
gonna
that
scream
thing.
in.
Yeah, you're gonna scald it. You can't.
I think this is really broken man though. Like he's not even a madman. He's
No.
just
He's a broken man.
he's a broken man. This is a rare man.
I'm
that
a
we
reluctant
don't
It's a man
usually
apart.
see. Yeah, a man apart. Perfect.
My man part.
Chris, are you doing okay? Is it?
Yeah.
This is gonna be a special episode of the Grindbin.
Are you contemplating life choices at this point? Is it just gotten to that point?
Well, for the hour drive up here, I mean, plenty
man.
of time for that.
At
Yeah,
Grindbin
we're gonna start putting
Studios?
together the memoriam for Chris Bennett.
It's going to be
so-
several hours long, I hope.
Yeah. A lot of. Did man watch the movies?
Yeah.
Or-
It's going to be a lot of oh yeah, a lot of oh wow, a lot of silence.
Oh, I'll tell you, I've never seen a madder man than when I said that listeners have accused you of not watching the movies.
Oh
Yeah, you got very animated.
I was very upset because I do watch the movies, and if I'm not the most boisterous man that speaks,
I believe the phrase you used was, "I'm a passive watcher."
no passive conversationalist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When he jumps in, when he, you'll add when you need to, just enough.
That's
right?
how. That's what I'm like. Yeah.
Bruce loses the fight. Everyone laughs at him. And then
Credits.
Eastwood says something about getting even, and I said that would imply Bruce has done something. But what?
How do you get even after winning a fight?
Yeah, he's like, we're going to get even with you. I'm like, well, again, you've succeeded. Is there something else that he's done that I mean, we don't know, sir.
Oh,
All
man.
we've seen so far is that Bruce Lee came to hell, had a hard-on, and went to a restaurant because he was hungry.
Can you imagine getting your ass kicked and then the guy who did it goes, "Oh, you'll pay for that one." You're like, man, fuck me. Like, what do I gotta do
It's
here?
like spitting on your grave all over again. Really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
By the way,
okay.
this film is dedicated to the millions who love Bruce Lee.
Guys, now here's a little bit of further proof that Lucas ripped this off. Because all of a sudden a guy comes in and he goes, "My name is Watto. I'm a doc." I'm like, "Excuse me?" From the prequels?
Why are you waving your hand around like you're some kind of a Bruce Lee?
I couldn't believe that.
My name is Watto. Originally, I sold parts for pod races, but now I'm a doctor in hell. And he
Some
says
little
something
kid
like,
walks up to one of the king's brides. It's just like, "Are you an angel?"
Oh, Jesus.
Starts building a robot.
"Oh, if this was like, what if this movie was just episode 1? You know what I mean? Like the whole story of Bruce
Just
Lee
this?
and everything. It's just like the story of Anakin.
You guys want to know how Darth Vader started? And he wakes up with a heart on in the afterlife.
Yeah, he thinks
Yeah.
he's Bruce Lee.
That should have been the Force Awakens. The Force lives again.
The Force has awakened.
And
Oh, yeah,
we're just
yeah,
watching, was it midichlorians crawling on his dick?
That's why they had to
To
cut
John Williams.
That's why they had to cut Mark Hamill out of the episode 7 Force Awakens, because he just kept saying the Force has awakened. They're like, Mark, you can't say that. You can't.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, they have to say the fucking tagline in every movie.
Yeah, that's kind of the idea.
Yeah.
You mean there was a part in
They-
Attack of the Clones where Samuel Jackson turned towards the camera and said,
Attack
"It's
of
like
the
there's
clones, motherfucker!
an attack of the clones or something."
Yeah. You didn't see when Daisy Ridley was like, "Oh, I am the last Jedi. I am."
I did actually. So
It's
yeah,
like some kind of clone war. I like that idea.
yeah. They should always say the title of a movie in a movie.
Every
It
movie.
should be
Yeah,
an
every
MPAA
single
like
movie.
requirement.
yeah.
Yeah.
It would make them better, especially in some cases. Like when Orson Welles said, "No, it's like I'm a Citizen Kane," and they're like, "Yep, that makes perfect sense."
Mm-hmm.
You know when in Annihilation, when a character actually goes Annihilation,
Yeah.
I stood up and clapped. It's like fantastic.
It's like the planet's in some sort of annihilation, and they always got to break the fourth wall. They just got to remind the audience you're watching a movie, right? Hey guys, it's okay. It's not real life, all right? It's all a movie. It's all for fun. The dragon lives again, right? So these ladies.
This monster can't live in this bathtub without salt. Look at the shape of this water.
So the ladies and the
I'm
and
gonna
Watto,
fuck it.
Yeah. Okay, so Watto shows up. He flies into the scene,
Yep.
and he's like, "I used to be." He's again. This is like a real type of like Nazi situation where he's like, "No, I used to work for the bad guys, but now I'm a good doctor. You
can
know?
trust me."
Like I moved to Argentina. I'm a good
I
doctor
was
now."
just following orders.
And Bruce goes with it.
Yeah, he's like, "Whatever," and
He's weirdly trusting for a guy who just got attacked by movie characters.
Yeah, and a guy named Watto, by the way. I mean, that's one I've never even heard. So that to me would be instantly off-putting. Like, an old man comes up and goes, "Yeah, my name's Watto. I'm a doctor. Can I touch you and make you feel better?"
Literally everyone since I woke up down here is trying to kill me. And you're just like, hey, come with me.
Again, though, they can't kill you. You're already dead.
And isn't that even worse?
So I don't understand. What happens? You die again, you got to go through it all over again? Like, you get the hard on,
There's
you're on
levels.
the table, you got to
Those
go
bugs
back.
that were crawling on his dick, that's the next level down. He's got to be a dick bug.
So I write Watto's house. My note is,
I don't know how Chinese hell works. What are you asking us for?
okay, now this is amazing. So who knew that Watto was a ventriloquist? Because the first thing we see... Now, okay, can you... Chris,
Yeah.
there's a skeleton that appears on screen, like a
Jesus
classroom
Christ.
skeleton, right? And
Fuck this scene.
Watto's trying to loose screws.
for whatever reason, the American dubbers were like,
Yeah,
like
thanks
it-
for your help, Doc.
yes.
Yeah.
It's like a Bugs Bunny, and then he walks off screen, and I'm like, okay, we need to back up. Is that a talking skeleton
It's
in
all
this
right, though,
world?
because our cast decides to forget it.
Yeah, it'll never.
It's never comes
By the way,
back.
no, only one shot of this thing. It's almost like they superimposed it on the screen.
No,
because
it's just a fucking cocktail napkin idea.
I feel like somebody went,
Yeah.
people aren't going to realize this is hell.
Again, though,
Like, this is the afterlife.
Yeah.
We need something.
Yeah.
We need
Yeah.
to spook it up a bit.
and good thing we robbed this prop house with that skeleton.
What are we going to do with this skeleton? Is he going to do a fatality on somebody? Or is he going to kick this and, like, the skeleton flies out his ass or
Yeah.
something? I don't know.
So he's either a talking skeleton or Watto's doing.
A hell of a ventriloquism.
Yeah, he's like
He's the
"Hey,
Jeff
Bruce."
Dunham of hell.
Yes, like, well, yeah. The real hell is that Watto has now invited you into his home, and you have to see his ventriloquist show.
No, the real
before you
hell
can
is
leave.
Jeff Dunham. Being Jeff Dunham.
Yeah, he's gonna walk around everywhere going like, "I'm a doctor. Come to my house. I'll make you feel better." And then he's like, "Now that I've got you in here with these locked doors, how about you check out my latest act?"
God. my favorite thing about Jeff Dunham is when he does his tight five before he pulls out the puppets, and he just fucking bombs at normal stand-up, and then just kind of sighs and just kind of accepts his fate and pulls out the fucking jalapeno on a stick.
Yeah,
He's like,
yeah.
nobody's here for me.
I feel like
He's-
that.
I like it that he at least leans into it. You know,
Yeah.
like he's earnest about it.
I feel like though that's
He's sort of
that's
the
how his
John
act
Arbuckle
went.
of stand-up.
Like he was bombing on stage until eventually he's like, "Well, nothing's working." Then he just
What if
took
I
a
just
sock out of
made
his
a
pants.
racist puppet?
Yeah, and was like,
my
"Oh,
God,
look
yeah.
at me, I'm the black sock," and then everybody's like, "Oh,
Oh shit! Hey, have you heard about this guy who does the? He performs black sock.
Everybody's like, "Oh,
They're like, oh man. He's like, okay, I can't do black sock. All right. I'll do a terrorist corpse
yeah."
and
Oh
a,
my God, yeah,
and
I
a
remember
Mexican jalapeno
Oh,
and
boy.
a retarded guy. That'll go over really well.
I don't remember that guy.
You know what everybody
it's called
loves
Peanut.
in 2018?
Yeah, he
is-
has a character who's mentally challenged. It's
Ouch.
great stuff. That
Ouch.
Jeff Dunham deserves every penny.
Oh God.
No, you don't get it, Chris. It's to show awareness. You know.
Okay.
I just want to point out that Mitch Hedberg and Greg Giraldo are dead. Jeff Dunham's doing fine.
Yeah. It's to show that there's peanuts everywhere amongst us. You know, is that its name? Peanuts. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, this is the one
Wow.
to teach. You know, have a nut once in a while. you
Yeah.
know?
It's like
You know?
he's like the one guy who wouldn't let go of Crank Yankers.
Oh,
He's like doing
yeah.
our Crank Yankers road show.
Yeah.
And we're giving him all kinds of money for doing it.
Wait, you're telling me he does crank yankers on stage?
Well, I mean,
now
he's-
that's something I'd see. Some guy
Christ.
with a cell phone going like, "All right, let's call the Pizza Hut, huh?" Well, I guess we'll see how this goes. So, all right, okay, Bruce is on the men. One of the ladies. Okay, again, we have to get into Bruce Lee's dick because
We
man,
haven't discussed Bruce Lee's dick enough.
do you feel like they were like, "Can we make a movie about Bruce Lee?" To his relatives, they're like, "As long as you talk about how big of a dick he had," and they're like, "Okay."
Do you think there was a bit of an issue? They talked to somebody and he was like, Bruce Lee was the biggest dick. Like, I don't know
All
if
I
you
got
knew
on
this
this-
about Bruce Lee, but he was a giant dick.
And the director's got that cocktail napkin. He goes, "It just says Bruce Lee giant dick."
And they underlined it twice. So some drunk guy was like, I know everyone thought he was the nicest guy and be water and all that shit, but he was the biggest dick.
Yeah, and they
A real
got,
cock and balls, that
he's
guy.
like, "Look, we got like 5 of these napkins, so they want us to keep mentioning his dick. Like this is a big studio note."
Yeah. You could crack fortune cookies with it.
I
That's how they should have opened this movie. Is him breaking out of a giant fortune cookie.
oh boy.
Like the gobbledygooker coming out of the egg.
Yeah. They filmed that for the American version, Chris, but it didn't translate. They were like, everybody thought it was a vagina, not a
There's an
cookie.
interesting part in here. Interesting because it's not Bruce talking. Someone has written this film where he takes a moment and just sort of outwardly to the ether apologizes to his wife for being unfaithful to her.
Okay, again,
He's like,
though.
I fucked all kinds of women. I'm so sorry, Linda.
God.
Again, this is just the American dub crew not knowing what's going on. They're like, they're looking at him like they're going to talk about his dick, right? Because that's what women do. They talk about dicks when the man when he's not coherent. They just go like, "Man, I'd like to see that dick or how big that dick is."
Do you think that the American dubbers are like, I don't get what everyone saw in this Bruce Lee guy? There's
It's
all
the
kinds
dick.
of kung fu guys. He
Yeah.
must have had a huge dick.
Haven't you ever seen that Steven Seagal movie where he's in a coma and that nurse keeps looking at him going like, "Man, what a dick."
Which one was that? Hard for Justice?
Yeah, Hard for Justice. Where she's like, "I can't wait till he wakes up and get that in me," you know. I'm sorry. Watch that movie. That's what she does.
Yeah, he's a master
yeah.
at Taquito.
Yeah. And by the way, that was his wife at the time.
Fantastic.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I want you to say again how big my dick is. Please. Tell them, honey. They got to know. They got to know.
She's like, Steven, it's really... I mean, have you heard the term average or...
We can't even use a regular bedpan. It's going to be like a popcorn bowl. It's wide. It's wide.
You gotta give this one a wide berth. He just waves his hands around real fast.
So, okay, as we know, we know from Scorchy, women love dicks and chocolate. So they talk about his dick, and then he's going to wake up because he's an honorable man, and he's going to apologize to his wife. Because I think that's what's going on. Why else would he look into the sky and start waving his hands? I don't know.
Look, I mean, that's what everyone knows. That's what you do. You know, if you've been unfaithful, you have to shout to the sky that you're sorry and name the person you cheated on.
So that's why every time I go to Vegas, you see some guy looking up at the sky going like, I'm sorry!
Nadine, I'm sorry.
Jesus.
After he dropped somebody off at the gas station. I'm so sorry, Claire.
This legend is supposed to stop burning after 3 days if you do that in Vegas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, because I wrote, this is Americans dubbing. They have no idea what's fucking going on, and neither do we. We just,
I don't know about you guys. I'm following it just fine.
Then we go to a bad guy's place, which is like this little strip show for the crowd. Boy, the boys, they get
You know what?
restless.
We've been soft a little bit.
Yeah.
Now, we've been talking a lot about dicks, okay? Ladies, you got yours. Now it's time for the boys.
Here come the boys.
Yeah, here they come. Pull them out.
And so, why don't you set the scene for me while I pull it out, Mike?
As we get elbowed in the sides by the guy next to me, trying to pull it out.
I think this is a case of like she was wearing a bikini and she was very uncomfortable on camera, and she's like, well, I'm going to grab the biggest boa I can from this robbed prop room. Because the boa is covering up most of her body, but she's like giving it. He's like, come on, honey, get it a little bit. We can't even see the G-string. Come on. God damn it. We hired her for the minute, She was here for 3 minutes, and now she's gone. Fuck. And then they introduce, they go, okay, here are our newest friends, Exorcist, which is just
That's
the
just
priest
lazy.
from The Exorcist. It would have been better if it was just Linda Blair.
If it was Reagan?
And they called her. Yeah.
President if it was Reagan from The Exorcist.
Yeah, and they're like, her name was Exorcist in the movie, right?
That's what I would have expected from this movie.
Yeah, oh, God,
At least
yeah.
they got it well enough. We know they watched that movie because they knew that the Exorcist of the title wasn't the girl.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure
When I was a
his
kid, though,
name
I
in
thought
the...
that. Did you guys think that?
What? No.
Prior to seeing the film, I didn't know what the fucking Exorcist was when I was a little kid. I was like,
know.
yeah, that girl's the Exorcist. That's what they call that.
Yes,
It's like
yeah.
there's Freddy, there's Jason, there's Exorcist.
You're right. When I saw it, you're
It's like when
oh,
people
she's
call
the
Pinhead
Exorcist.
Hellraiser.
Yes.
Oh, like
Yeah.
any Halloween party you go to, someone's dressed up as her, and they go put, Exorcist. It's
Yeah,
like,
you're dressed
no.
as the Exorcist.
Yeah, it's like,
No, the Chinese man in the priest chip. That's the guy dressed like the Exorcist. I'm in the nightgown pissing myself.
Want to reach in and find the crucifix?
And as you reach in, you go, I'm so sorry, Linda.
I'm sorry.
You're absolved then. You're good.
So we introduce. He goes, "Hi, my name is Exorcist. You may have seen my movie by William Friedkin."
He's down here, too.
You imagine William Friedkin sitting in the theater going, "What the fuck?"
William Friedkin, who went to this Grindhouse theater and watched this.
Yeah.
He's all, it has to do with
Yeah.
hell. I better check it out.
Yeah. And then he's like, "Fuck
he's
this!
just-
I'm gonna go make blue chips."
He's just looking for Pazuzu in the background,
and
which is an Italian dish. You know that, right, Mike? You're a paisan.
yeah, I know everything Italian.
You're a spaghetti.
That's all I know. Me
Guma,
spaghetti.
yeah.
Hey. We introduce Exorcist the character, which everybody knows that's his name in the movie. Everybody knows that.
Absolutely.
The
Second he was on screen, you went Exorcist.
that guy who played Exorcist in the movie Exorcist. And then also Emmanuel, because there's a thing where like anybody who plays like a sultry lady in a movie can just be called Emmanuel. Because there's about 100 movies called Emmanuel.
Emmanuel, I think we've discussed this before. It's Sex Django.
Yeah. That's exactly.
You got a sexy movie with a chick in the lead. It's Emmanuel. We'll
Yes.
call it that. It'll sell more.
Bill, I love your your inputs. You know me. You get me, right? Emmanuel, right? We've seen a few of those together. They're great.
By the way, you can catch my band Sex Django this weekend. I'll be playing at Monsterpalooza.
Well, I'm just reading my notes. They don't like Bruce. They want to take him down. That's what I get.
They
want
to take him down, and they also discuss that they have a plan. They want to overthrow the underworld king. They're staging a coup.
Yeah, because also they're like, well, why else would all these bad guys be in a room? They're bad, right?
This is like the Legion of Doom.
Yes. Yeah.
We're doing like
The Legion of
underworld super
Doom's
friends.
characters.
Hey!
So
Hold on. I'm gonna wait for the shopping cart to pass.
And then we cut to probably the most confounding scene in the entire movie, which is Bruce playing dominoes. And
I didn't know they had gambling in hell.
You gotta pass
Or
the
at
time in hell.
Underworld.
You're down here for a very long time.
And they're like, what is he doing? He's playing some sort of
It's
game.
not quite dominoes. It's some kind of Chinese tile-based game. I don't know enough to be able to say it accurately, and I don't want to be offensive.
Look, they got Chinese checkers. This is Chinese dominoes, okay? That's what it is. He's playing some sort of Chinese domino for money or something, and then he gives back the money. But I feel like because he gives back the money, he's got to say something about how like gambling's bad or something. Can you not gamble in China? I don't think.
Speaking of Chinese dominoes, what do you guys want to order while we're writing this? I got two options in front of me.
I just write, what is going on?
I don't know what's happening. This is the most Lynchian martial arts movie I've ever seen.
And then I write, who cares, fight scene. Because all of a sudden it just evolves into a fight scene. And I write, I guess Bruce wins. Now he's hanging out with Popeye and Indy, and now he has a new armless friend.
Yeah, I looked this up, and the guy that they call One Arm is actually a character named Fang Kang from 1967's Shaw Brothers classic, The One-Armed Swordsman.
So it really does have one arm then in real
So,
life.
yeah, it was just
okay.
it was a movie
Oh.
from I don't know if the actor did, probably not.
Oh,
But
wow.
it was a movie from about 10 years ago at that point that was popular at the time. And they're like, hey, remember that one-armed guy who was going around fighting people in that kung fu movie we saw? Put him in there too.
And I was just thinking it was just a fugitive reference. The one-armed
Probably.
man. So then Bruce teaches everyone kung fu is what I write. Wonderful.
He's just sort of opening a school down there to pass the time.
Yeah, that's what he says. His quote, school, which is just, I'm going to take this street corner and claim it as my own. And then I write, kings, ladies, in a bath. Okay, this
We have
is
a
when I
long
write.
group bath.
This is when I write, I didn't know that you could make smut in China. Like, I didn't know it was a thing in the 70s. Because typically with foreign movies, we don't see this level of, like, for example, Sonny Chiba movies. You
don't see Sonny Chiba naked.
You do not see nudity or sex scenes in those movies. And I was surprised because kung fu movies and like martial arts movies are not known for being sexy. And this was a lot of smut.
Definitely.
These ladies are like topless for a long time, and they're talking about
we do some
boobs
real
and-
lingering. It's like Hell Squad, but better.
Yeah, this is like if this is the size
Because
of
they're
the
just
tub
all
they
in the
needed.
bath together.
Yes.
And what's funny about let's talk about padding a screenplay here, because while it's as if they're just reading Bruce Lee's Wikipedia page while they're all hanging out in the bath, they're like, "Did you know that Bruce Lee trained Steve McQueen and Chuck Norris
and
Yeah.
Charles Bronson.
I was
They
like,
were all
oh,
students.
shit.
Isn't that something? Hey,
yeah,
did you know
Bruce,
that Bruce
whatever.
Lee?"
Yes, again, they're like, well, hold on. What are these ladies talking about? Well, as we know, if a man's off screen, they're going to be talking about his dick. So they're going to talk about Bruce Lee being good at fighting, also his dick.
Whenever Poochie is off screen, everyone must be asking where Poochie is.
Yeah, so they're talking about his dick and talking about who he's trained and all these hot men. This is, again, for the ladies and the men, because the men are looking at the boobs and the ladies are like, oh, Steve
Imagine
McQueen.
like a dad walking in while you're watching this videotape. He's like, "What are you watching?"
I
you
had
know?
to turn it down
And
at
then
a certain part.
he sees this like scene with all these sexy ladies taking a big bath together, and then he listens into what they're talking about, and they're like, and then Kareem Abdul-Jabbar kicked him right in the chest, and your dad just sits down like, "This is the greatest movie I've ever seen."
It was a little off-putting to me to see a pair of breasts as the name Charles Bronson was mentioned. I was like, no,
We don't need this.
Also, it's like, could you imagine Bruce Lee teaching Charles Bronson kung fu? I mean, it didn't work.
He's like,
because he learned one kick and
he's
that was
explaining
enough.
you put water into a cup and it becomes the cup. He's like, "Yeah, I don't know about that."
Yeah, he's like, look, Bruce, when are we gonna kick? All I want to do is learn how to do one roundhouse. That's all I need for my movies. All right.
I'd like to teach you my martial art. It's called click boom.
They taught each other. That was it. So then the king comes in and he basically
He's still wearing his beaded curtain hat.
loose screws,
Yeah.
away, and he just runs around. He's like, oh, boobs. And that's what the dub is. Because he's like,
Yeah.
oh, look at those boobs.
I couldn't
Then you
believe it.
find out it's his wife. Like, oh, these are his
One
wives.
of them. Yeah, at least one of them.
And I'm like, why is he acting like a Tex Avery cartoon? Like that's
Like the first time he's ever seen them.
yeah. He's like, whoa, boobies, and it's like,
And his wife's there, so he's got to look to the sky and yell, "I'm sorry, Ling."
irate. Then the water disappears.
Yeah, the entire bath disappears, and now the Hell Squad's on the floor.
and everybody,
The
even
literal
the
Hell
characters,
Squad.
the
Yeah.
characters, the dubbing people, they're all like, I don't know.
It's just bloop, 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 gone.
Yeah. It'll never be addressed or explained.
Well, we're
like,
in the afterlife. Everything's magic. We
Why
can do
the-
whatever we want.
why the fuck that water disappear? I don't know. Who cares? Just cut. Go to Popeye and Indy. They watch a cop steals fruit
We
from this
have
lady's cart.
underworld cops, and the cops are shoplifting.
Again, the underworld is just, again, like I said, they must have just been like, well, hell is China. Like, that's what they thought. Like, I just don't understand it otherwise. It just looks like a regular town.
Do you think do you think there were cops in real life, or they were just became cops in hell to pass the time?
I think they make the prisoners be cops in hell. You know what
Like,
I mean?
can you
It's like
imagine
a-
what the cadet academy is
Oh,
like
God.
in hell?
If
it's
there-
hell.
Yeah.
And the music during this is kind of interesting because this is like out of the Gorgor Girls. We're getting the weird like big band music, like Hail to the Chiefs playing.
Well, he's trying to steal an apple from a lady.
Yeah, we're doing like that opening scene from Aladdin.
Man, who picks the fucking fruit in hell? That's a terrible job. Like, god damn.
I bet there are worse jobs.
Hand jobs.
Yeah, being
They're
one of
the
the king's
worst.
wives.
Ugh.
So he tries to beat the woman who caught him stealing, but then his partner like pulls him aside. His partner who has a World War II like muzzle, like a musket or something. You know what I mean? Like a
Those World War II muskets, Mike?
yeah, it's what it looks like. I'm like, this is like a musket from the Civil War.
Sean-
I'm sorry on behalf of Mike, Sean.
Sean, set Mike straight.
Yeah. Can you contact us and inform Mike they didn't use muskets in
All
World
right,
War II?
I don't mean a musket. Like it's like a World War II, like a whatever you call it,
Like
from
a-
Call of Duty.
Yeah,
You
M1
know what I mean?
Garand, maybe. Yeah.
I don't know. It's a fucking prop that looks like an old ass like kid's toy that you load from the barrel.
Yeah, it's like a blunderbuss.
Yes.
It's like something Fester was carrying around in the Addams Family.
It's very weird. And he pulls the guy aside. He goes, no. She's getting mad at you because she likes you. And then he tries and kisses her forcibly. And it's like, huh. And then all of a sudden, there's a fight scene. Like Popeye and Indy just catch him.
And a crowd forms to
fight.
watch these cops get their asses kicked.
And then Bruce comes up and he tells him like, hey, this is my neighborhood now. We want you out of here. And I'm like, so I guess Bruce runs a gang now.
Yeah.
This is
Bruce,
all-
Popeye, and Kane are just
Yeah.
like cleaning up the streets, man.
And then
Vigilante style. But then Zatoichi shows up to challenge Bruce.
Yeah.
Here
and-
comes a new challenger.
Yeah, and they don't respect him. They're like, we don't respect you. And he's like, well, let's get in a fight.
And this is when we do the where we run off screen and now we're in a desert.
Yeah, they start. It's like in Mortal Kombat when you like hit a guy through a floor.
Well, Mortal
you know?
Kombat 3, I think it was,
Yeah,
when that would
yeah.
happen. And you see the characters just start running.
It's like now we're in a subway, but now we're in the desert set, which is the only other set in this movie, which is just they found a wall of rocks and they're like, this would be great for a fight.
And what's interesting about this fight is it's a pretty long fight scene, but we start labeling all the different styles we go into and all the different special moves they're hitting.
Oh man.
For example, Zatoichi does Blind Man Leads the Way, and then the credit comes up and says Blind Man Finds Way.
Yeah. He
All
precedes that, by the way, Bobby, is saying, I'll put you straight with my blind man blows. And I was like, that is a strange wording. Like,
yeah.
very strange.
We're about to see a
phrase.
ghost job.
I'll put you straight with my blind man blows.
Yeah, you have to pay extra for that in Amsterdam.
And he
Bruce-
also, by the way, cups his hands and walks towards him.
Oh,
he
yeah.
does. And I was like, huh. I wonder if that was like intentional or they're just like,
If any of you have seen the movie Orgasmo, this is similar to those fighting styles.
yeah.
But all of Bruce's moves that he responds with are the titles from his films. So
The
suddenly
Big
Bruce
Boss.
busts out the Big Boss, and he does. And I'm waiting for him to do the Chinese connection, but that one never came up.
Yeah.
He did Enter the Dragon, Way of the Dragon, Return of the Dragon. Cisco showed up and sang Unleash the Dragon.
Did you see this? Did it say blind fool massage?
I did.
Because I thought it was supposed to be foot because he used his foot, but I think I read blind fool.
I read
massage.
full too.
There are typos. When the titles come up, they're not matching what's being said.
No.
I wrote down a couple other ones he did. He did Blind Guy Kills Mosquito and Blind Dog Pisses.
That one I liked.
that favorite
good
part
move.
in the movie. I
good
knew
move.
Chris would get a laugh out of that
I
one.
got a little chuckle. I was like,
So it's a man crouched over on all fours, hopping backwards, trying to piss on him. That's a great fighting style. Although you leave the testicles very exposed.
Honestly, If I get into a skirmish somewhere, that's the first move I'm gonna bust out.
That's like I've seen that so many times
gonna
backstage
do-
in Europe at shows, mostly Germany.
With some guy coming at you going like, come here, Chris.
Just that move in general.
Chris has had to bust out the blind guy pisses.
No, I've seen people doing the blind guy pisses.
Oh man.
Wow.
Yeah.
Should we ask for context or move on? So
Please move on.
I go, this fight goes on for a long, long, long time.
Like every scene in this movie.
Yep.
Goes
Then
on way longer than it needs to.
Go back to Bad Guy Club. They're talking about how much they hate Bruce. They're just like, man,
So we're hatching a plan.
we just really hate Bruce Lee.
And the new plan is to have Emmanuel fuck him out.
Yeah. Because they were like, oh, well, we don't have to worry anyways because, look, come on. Let's be real. A gun beats Kung Fu every time. In the game of rock, paper, scissors of life, gun beats Kung Fu.
It's the truth.
Okay?
Check out our episodes on Revenge of the Ninja and Enter the Ninja. Guns beat Kung Fu every time.
Gun, sword, fist. Gun always wins, you know? And they're like, but yes, let Emmanuel fuck him out, you know? And you hear da, 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 and she goes over.
And just, I'm sorry, Linda.
We go to the King's Bath, and he's chasing naked women around. Again,
He's got a
loose
blindfold.
screws,
This is the
get
most loose screw scene in this movie.
Chinese loose screws, you know?
Absolutely.
Now, Bobby, if that exists, if there's like a Chinese sex comedy,
it's loose woos.
gong. I'm gonna gong
oh
you.
man, we have the bad joke gong on this episode.
I'm gonna gong you on that one.
Please do. Oh man, I got more gongs than the breakdancing robot that caught fire.
You know, that would be really funny if in this episode, whenever one of us drops a bomb, a bad joke, we gong him. So he's doing his loose screws. He's like, loose screws, going away. And he's chasing around the tub and everything. And then we find out they're his wives, and they keep emasculating him. He's like, I'm going to put on this blindfold, and I'm going to chase you around the tub. And they're like, you're an old man. You can't get it up. Fuck you.
Hey, you know, that's a thing. It's called fetishes, Mike.
And he's also like, oh, come on. Now you're hitting below the belt. Like, that's just mean. You know?
Cuck this
Yeah.
guy is.
What a
King
real
cuck down here.
What a real hard than soft though. It's like, I bet you're excited, huh? Well, one day you won't get it up, so do it while you
Man.
can.
So they're just edging him forever.
Yeah, yeah. Oh man, that's real hell.
It's
You
one of
know what
those
I mean?
levels of hell they don't speak about, where it's just like
There's
you
no
know,
relief down here.
no, and then it gets raw, and you're like, oh.
Real raw force.
So basically, we watch him play Marco Polo.
Oh, that's great.
With his wives.
I could have watched this for 10 more seconds.
And he catches a girl, and she goes, "Great, so my luck's finally run out."
Aw.
Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. So Bruce and Emmanuel, we're not even mid-date. We're at the point where they're back at her cave bedroom.
You think Sex Django's going to waste any time?
No.
No.
Like, we didn't even see the courting. And again, here's the thing. So Bruce doesn't like any woman in this movie. He's, like, repulsed by the idea of women. Whenever one touches him, he gets, like, all upset about it and really pissed.
It's
But
true.
For some reason with Emmanuel, he is... She's like, I don't know, some sort of siren. You know what I mean? Like like an ancient Greek siren or something that's called him into her lair.
But he will not be dashed upon the rocks.
But he is. He's thrown on that rock bed.
Except for when he's dashed upon the rocks.
Yeah. He's thrown on that rock bed, which if you ever seen the Madonna Inn, look it up. The caveman bedroom. Yep. This is
I was just looking at that recently.
It's a shame you got to book 2 nights because it's like, why the hell would I ever stay here for more than 1 night?
I
you
know.
That's how they get you. That's how they get
That's
you.
how they get you.
You think the shame is going to let me stay an extra night?
Okay, just so you know, I do have a friend. They are a Patreon member. They did stay at the Madonna Inn. They stayed in the caveman bedroom, and they found a cock ring in their room. So
Fantastic.
quite-
Was that complimentary?
I asked that, but they said
Wait,
no.
was it on the
leftover.
pillow when they
no,
got back
No,
in?
it was definitely one they found in the room.
Oh.
Yeah, so maybe one day she'll tell us all about it.
Man.
So they dance and laugh hysterically, and they fall onto the bed, and I guess the show has now started because all the bad guys come into the room, and they're like, is an Emmanuel movie starting? They stand at the beaded curtain, like a strip
Your
club.
fucking view, like really, like
They
you
queue
can't
up.
even like.
Chris is a strip club. The bouncers have got to watch and make
yeah,
sure that
well.
you're not going too far.
Well, you know.
So she starts. Here's the thing. She starts going downtown, right? She's going down to the
Boom
Dick Chucks.
shakalaka.
Yeah. And then I don't understand what happens is all of a sudden Bruce just stops her and he goes, "What kind of fool do you take me for? You tried to trick me, you bitch." Whoa,
Yeah.
I'm like, huh.
This is when we think, well, maybe he was a big dick.
He was. Yeah. The napkin don't lie.
Yeah.
You tried to trick me.
Get out. You bitch.
You know what? Maybe it's this whole thing of like everybody says he's got a big dick, and he's like, it's not true. I got to keep it a secret.
And the
You know
second
what
it
I
looks
mean?
like someone's about to find out,
Yeah, and he's like, shit, I can't get this going around. You know, Emmanuel, she's got loose lips.
gonna find out what the Wizard of Oz really looks like, and he's like, no.
So she starts going downtown. Yeah. All right. Bruce walks out. Like, he gets all mad, and then he walks over to the beaded curtain, and he throws his coat over his shoulder. He's like, yeah, he's just looking at him like, yeah, you enjoy the show, basically. And they're like, yeah, that's fine. Couldn't get it up, huh? So some guy in a white suit then tries to recruit Bruce into his gang.
That's the Godfather.
Yeah.
The guy in the white suit.
Okay, because later he's not wearing a white suit. He's
Right.
then wearing a black suit. And I was just like, who is this guy
I kept
right
getting
now?
confused with the change in a wardrobe and just the eyebrow expressions were, I don't know.
So who's the person who wrote The Godfather? Mario
Puzo.
Yeah.
Puzo. So this is Mario Puzo, and he tells Bruce Lee, he's like, hey, do you want to join our gang? And he's like, no, I'm good.
Like, nah.
And then he just leaves, and they're like, all right,
That's
whatever.
a great scene. Join us. Nah. Okay.
I wrote at this point, though, I go, if this is hell, why is Bruce here?
But it's not
If he's
hell.
so good, why is he here?
Well, it's
purgatory.
It's an underworld, like they said. It's not a hell.
Yeah, I
like
guess
when it's
not.
yeah.
Hell exists, and that's, I think, how can you die after death? You end up in hell.
Okay, but
It's all-
again,
it's
yeah,
all
see, to
levels.
me it was like, why are these people so worried about beating people up and getting dead and all stuff? Like, who cares? You're all dead already.
I don't know how all the rules work. Joe Dante made a movie called Inferno about it.
I don't know. They're all fictional characters anyways, except for Mario Puzo, who's,
And Clint Eastwood.
yeah, very upset. Yeah, the not dead Clint Eastwood.
Definitely not dead Clint Eastwood.
I had a terribly humiliating experience at a wine bar once where I really didn't know much about wine or anything. It was a date and a long time ago, and wasn't my best foot forward. It was when I ordered the Don Quixote wine.
Wow.
Don Quixote. I didn't
You
know
felt
much.
like this is what hell feels like. And then
Got
it
drunk off
turned
and started windmilling.
So you never got to that point in the Emmanuel movie where she threw you on the bed because it ended right there.
Yes.
Like you just stood up and you said, "You tried to trick me, you bitch," and you walked out.
Took your last slug of Dom Quixote.
Yes.
And everybody was like, "I think I just heard a guy call a lady a bitch in public. That was crazy."
Yeah.
And then he went out and then he's like, "I'm sorry." I'm sorry. So then I say, Bruce and some lady. I wrote, "I don't know what's going on." This girl's talking to him, and then the King's ladies appear, and then you figure out she's the lady who runs the fruit cart, and apparently
There's a
her
great
and Bruce
moment
are on a
in,
date.
in here where we see a Rochambeau for Bruce's dick. The ladies are trying to decide who's gonna try to fuck him out.
He was gonna.
Then the King's ladies play rock, paper, scissors to see who gets to pretend to be this girl that they just kidnapped, the cart girl, and, quote, seduce Bruce. One wins, she turns into a lady, drugs his tea.
And let's talk about that for a second. To your point about an inability to get it up, we're making homemade Viagra here.
Yeah.
I wrote ancient Chinese Viagra.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And they talk about the dangers of it. There's the harmful side effect that, like, you don't want to have this if you're a woman.
Yeah, apparently
A man
if
will
you're
get an
a woman,
erection. Some bad shit's going to go down if you're a woman.
Yeah, but they're like,
You know, like
man,
everything else.
for men, it gives them a raging, like, death hard-on.
Like a nunchuck.
Yeah, like you're never harder than when you're dead. And this is what this does.
That's the Grindbin guarantee.
And in China it's a nunchuck. In America it's like a biscotti, and like it kind of changes.
That's going on our t-shirts, right? You're never harder than when you're dead.
Yeah. Oh, trust me. Maybe when you get old, you can't get it up anymore. Don't worry. One day it'll be harder than it ever was. And it's your proudest moment as they wheel you off in the ambulance in the corners.
Well, I'm bummed out.
Don't be, Bobby. It's like a triumphant last hurrah.
You'll hear kung fu fighting.
Yes. Oh, as you pitch your last tent. Mm-hmm. And I write, honestly, I didn't know, this is what I wrote again, I didn't know China made smut. Because now we're watching what is a borderline porno of a lady trying to get in that dick chuck.
Yeah.
She's like, Bruce, this is when she says, Bruce, I want you to beat me with that weapon of yours. Please beat me senseless.
Yeah, she
Bruce."
says, beat me with that terrible weapon and I'll love you more.
And he's not into any of this.
This is the scene, by the way, where there's a poster of real Bruce Lee behind them while they're talking.
Yeah, and he doesn't want to upset, he doesn't want to disturb his real life. So, okay, hold on. So now, who has to make posters in hell? Like, that's crazy. Like,
There's
and out of
every job in
living
hell.
people?
We got cops and waiters and chefs and poster makers.
Union representatives.
There's a Mondo in hell making prints.
Is there a box office in hell? Like, did these movies, once they throw them out of the Crown dumpster, do they go down to the underworld? Like, I don't understand. So eventually, like,
there's also another weird line in here when he's not having it when she's telling him to beat her because she likes it. She says, "Please forgive me. I'm just a silly little pussy." I'm
yeah,
like,
they
what?
use the term pussy a lot in this movie.
And
where you're like,
strangely in
again,
this, we have women calling themselves pussies.
Yeah.
that's what they do, Bobby. You
Okay.
know that damn well. They always do that.
They're taking it back.
Yeah, they like that term.
Oh, jeez. Mr. Crown, what are you doing down here?
They always
the
just
undercrown.
always, yeah, me underground. Oh man,
The dead
Can you
man.
imagine that one?
Oh, Jesus. How do you think he died?
All they do is talk about dicks, chocolates, and pussies when they're by themselves. So we're bringing it in. We're making it real.
Isn't that just an episode of The View?
Yeah, I think. I've
Yeah.
never seen it, but I'm pretty sure that's the 3 topics on their board.
Jesus.
Today we're talking about, and it's like no whammies, no whammies, no whammies, no whammies.
Bruce Lee's dick.
Bruce Lee's dick.
Gong.
I heard it was big.
I got this napkin here. Tell us.
I wish he would beat me with that weapon.
Jesus.
It's from the movie.
Yeah.
So she says, like, basically, he's like, hey, I know you're not that lady from the fruit cart because she never asked me to beat her with my stick before. And she's like, all right, you got me. I'm the king's lady. I'm his wife. And he's like, hey, why is the queen in my house? She's like, Bruce, I need that dick.
And she's like, I'm sorry, King.
Yeah, I'm sorry, King, but I need that dick, Chuck. The other lady comes in. She's like, all right, Bruce, well, how about me? And she's like dressed in a little skimpy outfit. He's like, I don't want either of you. And then pushes them away.
He's transcended sex at this point.
Yeah, and then
He's become water, my friend.
the girls drink the tea, and they're like, oh, shit.
We weren't supposed to do that.
Okay, so when a woman drinks the drink,
They get like half blackface?
half blackface.
Yeah.
It's really strange.
So she becomes a Two-Face.
This is just like a
But
Harlequin
instead of like
cosplay.
purple Tommy Lee Jones Two-Face, she's
Yeah.
half Soul Man. It is very
Thomas E.
weird.
Howell.
Yeah, she's half Howl.
Howl face.
Yeah, she's half. And she
My
goes.
favorite Batman villain.
She goes to the king, and she's like, "Hey, Bruce was a dick to us. Not that he has a big dick. He was a dick to us." And he goes, "I know what you did. That's why you got the howl face. I know what you were trying to do, seduce him and everything." He's like, no, I know that you were trying to cheat on me. So now you're done." And he's like, all right. And then Exorcist shows up, and he's like, hey, how about this lady Emmanuel? And the king's like, hey, you seem like a sexy lady. Have I seen your movies? And she goes, yeah. Guess what? I'll have sex with you, but first, I got to be your wife. And he's like, okay.
What's it to me?
He's like, I just got rid of that last one. Whatever. So then we go back to the town. I write, somebody's messed up the lady's shop and Bruce's Kung Fu Street School. And I write, who cares? And why? Nothing. It's not explained or anything.
Well, the American dubbers had nothing for that. They were like, oh, well, let's like skim over that one.
The dubbers are like, truth told, I forgot about this subplot.
Yeah.
They're like,
He had a school?
I don't understand. They have earthquakes in China or something? What the hell's the town all wrecked? Did the priest... Wait, did that king start humping that stick again?
Wait, what's this movie called? Oh, shit, a dragon wrecked the town.
Oh, man, if it only... Oh, yeah, guys, you missed it. It was a dragon.
It lived
and-
again, and then it flew away.
Then we go to the desert level, and there's a fight between Grey-faced Dracula
And
his-
Kato from the Green Hornet. Bruce took the time to put on the outfit.
Yeah, it's like, what?
Why not, right?
He shows up dressed as Kato.
It's
from
like
Green Hornet.
the people making this suddenly remembered that Bruce played pop culture characters.
Yeah.
He wasn't just Bruce.
But luckily, this movie didn't try and like shoehorn Seth Rogen into it or something
God.
as the Green Hornet. It's Michelle Gondry.
How was Batman not
Yeah.
in this, by the way?
How did he do that movie? Like, why?
Man, I saw
Why?
that like
Oh,
not
man,
even
you could
opening
just
day.
stop right
I
there.
saw an
You
advanced
saw that.
screening of it.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it was worth every penny of seeing it for free. I'll tell you that much.
He should have Be Kind and rewound that one,
I was
right?
gonna say, how do you go
Zing.
from Be Kind Rewind to that? My God.
You know, you infamously, I know we've told that story on the podcast. You infamously loved his movie before. What was that one with Jim Carrey and
Majestic.
no, the one with Kate
Earth Girls
Winslet.
Are Easy.
No.
No,
With
Eternal
Jim Carrey-
Sunshine of
Yeah,
the
Eternal
Spotless
Sunshine.
Mind.
When that movie ended, Chris Mann stood up and he goes, "Longest goddamn trailer I've ever seen," and walked out of the theater. And I was like, I don't think he liked it.
I did not.
But how does he go from that movie to that movie? The opioid crisis is out of control.
But then,
Yeah.
you know, every time a Saw movie ends, Chris stands up and gives it a fucking just. There's only a one-man standing ovation in the theater.
Every time the weak-ass twist happens, Chris Mann's like, oh, shit!
I swear to God,
He
Bobby.
was dead the whole time.
You're in the theater with him. The new Saw trailer comes on. You feel the seat next to you grip tightly, and it starts shaking. And you look over, and Chris is going, "Yes, yes, he's back." He sees the tricycle. That 10 is pitched.
Reverse.
World's biggest Saw fan.
Nope. Yep. True.
He has the whole. I bet Chris
do
has like
not.
a DVD box set where if you open it up, it's like a Saw trap. In order to get to the DVDs, it's like, Chris, I see you've opened.
He's got one of those shitty like blood pack DVDs
Yeah.
they had in the early 2000s.
I did have that.
I knew you did.
You have
Well-
5 seconds to pick a Saw movie and
Where
put
they
it
just
in your
put like
DVD player.
red ink inside of a
I
clear
bought
plastic.
that before I even knew what it was. To be honest, I'm like, oh, that's cool packaging. And it was like on sale, like $5. Sure, I'll take it.
So when you open your Saw Saw Sixtilogy or whatever the hell they're calling it, does it say like, "Do you want to watch a movie?" Like, does it have like voice cues from Jigsaw?
Kind of like that. It's like how to make popcorn with like the proper time. So you count down and you have to escape.
You've
from
got
the bathroom.
you've got your special tricycle you sit on when you watch those.
He does.
That has no
I've
seat.
seen that in the closet, Chris. You can't hide it with those clothes. He's definitely got a Saw doll somewhere,
I
right?
do not.
No,
No.
Jigsaw.
No.
So is Jigsaw the puppet?
I don't
or is
know.
it-
I'm not a
I
fan.
honestly, for all that I'm giving him shit about it, I can answer that question. The puppet is named Billy. Jigsaw is Tobin Bell.
Okay.
It's Billy the puppet.
Billy is.
This
the
is
name
like
of
what
the
we were talking
puppet?
about earlier with like they call Pinhead Hellraiser and all that stuff.
Yeah.
The puppet's name is not Jigsaw.
Yeah,
But they'll
but
forever
Saw
call him
movies-
that because that's the symbol of those movies.
Saw movies are just not good enough to learn the lore. You know?
Agreed.
It's true. I couldn't tell you the lore. I just know that much.
Yeah.
It's just about terrible police work and bad forensics
And impossible things to set up.
yeah, basically.
Like, there's no way you can set up a Saw trap in Times fucking Square and without at least one person going, "What are you doing?" I know. You know, while you're like cranking things. and
Chris
pulling
has
tension
tried.
cables.
He knows. He knows. It's
There's gonna
damn
be
hard to
There's
set
gonna
up
be at
that.
least maybe 2 cops are gonna be like, "You want to explain this one to me?"
It's
No,
weather
you know
experiment.
what, Bobby? I don't know.
You're like, "Oh, David Blaine's gonna be here."
I was
in the
just gonna
morning."
say, have you ever heard of him? Yeah.
Maybe you haven't heard of the Mind Freak officer. Chris Angel's gonna be in here and he's gonna get his jaw ripped off.
Okay, so did you guys ever hear that at Chris Angel's live show in Vegas? That apparently at the end of the show he sings his own theme song.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That is the
Yeah.
most self-filleting thing.
He tears
I've
off
ever
his
heard.
shirt and sings his own
Does,
theme song.
does
fuck him.
Crazy Town play the music for him while he does it?
No, it's his own band. He goes, "My friend."
God. Do you know who just got a residency at Vegas?
Who?
Blink 182.
Oh,
You want to feel old?
Enema of the
Wow.
Strip.
Blink 182 has a permanent residency. So they are alongside Britney Spears and Celine
It's
Dion.
come to that, huh?
And I've always
Fuck.
said Blink 182 are the Britney Spears and Celine Dion of punk.
They are.
Don't you
You're right about
understand?
that.
They're all from the same 5 years.
Yeah.
all of those people.
Target demographics, man.
Yeah.
The people who were listening to that shit when they were kids now have expendable incomes and go to Vegas all the time.
Right. Oh God.
And
For
the
loose
lady on the
slots.
cover of that CD was in Moving Target. with
Absolutely.
Jason Bateman.
Janine
That's right.
Lindemulder.
Yeah, and she went to jail. So the king. Okay, basically, so Bruce.
This is like that SNL skit Perspectives where you're just hitting little parts.
Yeah.
All are welcome and his son is dead.
So we hit. Okay, so Bruce Lee wins this fight as Kato from the Green Hornet against Grey-faced Dracula and the skeleton.
With the
From-
best move, the third leg of Bruce.
Oh wow.
We finally get to see. what
We
everyone's
finally
been
get to
talking
see
about.
that dick.
And it's literally so big it's wearing a shoe. Because both of his legs are out, and then a third one goes whoosh up in the middle, and it says the third leg of Bruce.
Wow, this is like a real Leslie Nielsen.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Frank Drebin taught him this one.
Yeah.
This is a real Murray Langston.
So
did-
yeah,
I did get a good
Dracula
laugh.
dies from being dick kicked.
Yeah, they weren't lying. Bruce is a real big dick.
That dragon lived again.
So guess what he wins is a piece of yellow paper. Like that's
the
what
golden
you win
ticket.
for this quest. And like
This is Ready Player One.
yeah, he's ready to level up.
He's won some bullshit key to move on to the next spot.
Yeah, and so then the King
Start
and
playing
Emmanuel.
Rush in the background.
King and Emmanuel. Now the Emmanuel movie has officially started as we see a sex scene. And you know, often we see up men's asses. This time we have to see up a woman's ass, and it's very off-putting.
It is. I mean, Grindbin has a proud tradition of smash cuts to a fat guy's asshole, and we didn't get that here. No, we didn't.
Can we just stop? Like, I get these are old movies and all, but there should never be a point in a regular movie where somebody bends over and shows their asshole to a camera.
Yeah.
For Christ's sake, just don't do it. It's not an attractive part of the anatomy.
You hear that, Anne Heche?
I don't want to see your asshole on camera, okay? Not even in a porno. Just don't do it. No assholes on like what? Just nobody wants to see anybody spread eagle in front of a camera like that. Like, it's very weird.
Man, you want to be the tiebreaker here?
Fuck that. No.
You're telling me it's attractive to you to
No,
see
it's not.
somebody just bend over and go like, do you want to see in it first? No.
No thanks. No.
You can put something in it, I guess, but don't just.
I don't want
nobody
to
wants
see
to
your
see it bent
chocolate
over.
fountain in action.
Exactly.
Thank
It's
you.
just no. Especially in a regular movie. Okay?
Mike Wood says, put something in it, but don't show it to me.
In a regular movie, I don't want to see down somebody's ass that far.
Down somebody's
You
ass.
are. You're like seeing too far.
I think
into
that
it.
happened in Bone Tomahawk.
It's like I don't want to like I don't look in the like inside of a beer bottle. You know what I mean? I don't know what to say. Like
You just want to
it's
drink
just
it down
Weird.
is what you're
yes,
telling me?
It's like just for Christ's
So
sake.
you have a weird quirk. You're uncomfortable looking into any hole whatsoever.
Yeah.
You're like, I don't want to look into a beer bottle. I don't.
So you're saying
I don't
I'm
look
just
down at the toilet
do
when
you
I'm
think
peeing.
do you think it's a normal thing to show like a
No, I don't think it's a
full-on
normal
asshole on camera?
unless it pushes the plot along.
Yeah. If it's crucial to the storyline.
It's like, so we see up her ass, and it's really off-putting.
Mm-hmm.
And she basically goes faster and faster and faster.
At a girl.
She's trying to give him a heart attack, and he's like, slow down. And then some guy with an abacus is counting.
odd point.
Like, what was he computing? Like, the rate at which she'll die? Like, counting the strokes until...
Yeah, he's like, you're up at so-and-so. Because at one
Yeah.
point he throws the abacus away, and he's like, fuck this, and pulls out a calculator.
Yeah, I still didn't get it. I'm like,
They're rolling in the aisles.
Well, this
in
episode
China.
is airing just a few days shy of the tax deadline, so it's just a little reminder.
Yeah. Get those abacuses out.
Even in hell.
And he's apparently counting his heart rate or something. Then Bruce Cato shows up and with his yellow paper quest, and he goes, "It told me to come here on the mini map. It's supposed to come here and give you this paper." He throws it to the king while he's having sex.
This ticket flew out of Dracula after I dick punched him.
Yeah, and he's like,
Dick
"Oh,
kicked him, pardon me. It was wearing a shoe."
yeah." And the king, as a traditional NPC, is like doing the sex, and then you walk in, and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna say my lines now." He gets.
It's too dangerous to go alone. Take this.
So he throws him the paper in bed, and then we cut. So the sex scene's over, and then Bruce and the king are hanging out, and the king reads the yellow paper, and he goes, "Hey, apparently," and this is his quote, "Emmanuel's pussy was part of the plot to kill me."
Yeesh.
And so then he goes, "Bruce, I want you to be the captain of my bodyguard." And Bruce goes, "Okay." So then we go to James Bond comes to town. Bruce fights him.
It is a lame ass fight.
Yeah, because
you
you know
expect
what?
something cool out of James Bond, but
Yeah.
nah. We didn't even
Yeah.
get like a judo chop or
Well,
anything like
that's
that.
the
He just runs
problem.
up with like a briefcase and then gets killed.
He doesn't have Q in hell yet.
It's true.
So he
Oh,
doesn't
yeah.
have those John Cleese or whoever's going to play him's gadgets.
No earpieces are telling him what to do yet.
Yeah, exactly. So then we have the Eastwood fight. He tries to shoot Bruce, loses, right?
Yeah,
That's
Bruce
basically
takes
what
him out too. He kills both James Bond and Clint Eastwood, and then he gets a party thrown for
Yeah,
it.
they're like, "You did a great job, Bruce. Here's
Nice
a
job
party."
extrajudicially murdering those two guys.
And I believe the lady from the fruit cart goes like, "We will never have problems again. Thank you. We're all in hell, but it's fine. It's all looking up from here." Then we go to the King's Lair, and Exorcist and the Godfather are here. So Mario Puzo and the Exorcist are here, and there's a fight scene between Exorcist, Godfather, and guards. The guards lose badly, and I write, wasn't Bruce hired to be the head of the guard?
Well, he refused.
I thought he said, "Yeah, sure, I'm good."
I'm pretty sure he was like, nah.
Oh, maybe he said
I'm going to
no.
go start a school with the townspeople.
I wrote maybe he got the night off for the party.
Yeah,
So, like
that-
just party
he put
tonight.
in for it?
Yeah. That's why the king goes and shakes the pillar. He's like, Bruce. So he goes and humps the pillar, and he causes rocks to, like, it's very metaphorical. Every time you stroke your pillar, angels cry. And in this movie, the angels are rocks that cry from above. This is a real,
You're writing
like,
some real poetry here.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm thinking, though? This is I think this is less hell, and afterlife is more of, like, maybe a reptilian type of world. You know what I mean? Like, under the crust, they're living.
This is where the Illuminati are?
Yeah, because
Oh,
he
man.
humps this pole, and it's like the crust is falling on them.
I'll say.
There's like these rocks that rain down from the sky and destroy the town because the king's having a little hissy fit. And he's like, I'll never give up my throne. Then in the next scene, he goes, I don't want to be king anymore.
I know, like, what the fuck?
It's like, well, you
Again,
had that option.
Well, American translation got lazy, I think. They're like, what's a good plot twist? He doesn't want to be king anymore.
Yeah.
Put it in.
But first we got to have Exorcist. And so Bruce is on the king's side because he gave him that piece of paper.
Yeah.
Where apparently
He saved his life.
Like they wrote, that old-timey email with the whole plot of collusion on it, and Bruce found it and then delivered it to Mueller, and it was like, hey, I got the proof right here. And he's like, shit.
That was the smoking nunchuck. Took the whole administration down.
And so the Exorcist and the Godfather fight Bruce at the desert level, and it just goes on for a long time. And Bruce wins with the Fingers of Fury, which is just him poking you in the belly. Give me a little tickle.
And hold on, because
Yeah.
we have teleporting mummies. Holy shit. Like, mummies teleport in here suddenly.
But they're too clean looking, too. Like,
Yeah,
they're,
absolutely.
Like, they're pristine mummies. Like,
They're
straight out
wrapped
of...
in fresh Charmin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And are
Yes.
wearing KKK hoods.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got a flaming cross.
They're referred to as the Demon Dozen.
they're
It's
like,
12 dancing mummies. And
we're
the-
not
these
racist.
clan
We just
mummies-
want things to be back how they were before Bruce came here. Before that guy came in here. So if we could just put him up on this thing.
And it's bizarre because they're not really doing any kind of martial arts moves. They're just kind of dancing around doing this weird, like, Hava Nagila of death.
Yeah. Well, they are
And-
Jewish mummies.
This experimental choreography they want to show Bruce real quick. And I muttered to myself watching this, what the fuck? And then my wife, who was sitting next to me, goes, it's called modern dance, Bobby. So she gets it.
Yeah. Get her on the show.
Oh, listeners, you'll hear from her at some point. We've got a plan.
I'm sure she'll become a fan favorite like my wife. And
The listeners always prefer our significant others to us.
oh my God, every time.
And I get that completely because so do I.
Every time Molly comes on the show, I get more messages from you listeners going like, bring her back. How come she's never on? I'm like, I don't know. I'm trying to.
It's a spike in downloads
Yeah.
and listens. We get
Every
it.
time.
So we go to the King's Lair, and he's like, okay, so from what I can see, either a really hairy guy or the Wolf Man shows up, because he's got like a beard, but man, that's a face beard, like a true face beard. So I'm just calling him Wolf Man, because I'm like, well, we already got Dracula.
And mummies.
We got mummies. They should have murmured something about Frankenstein. I mean, this is like the original Dark Universe that never worked out for Universal.
Thank
It's all
God.
in this movie. Maybe if they had that going, like a Dark Universe Justice League where they're trying to take down Bruce Lee's dick, that may have worked.
This is just like people like grappling, like characters grappling this giant penis tower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Wolfman makes an army of mummies. Yeah, that's right. And
That's when
they
the
join
mummies
him.
showed up.
And so then Bruce runs around the desert level telling the king, he's like, I'm going to get you. And I write, when did they become enemies?
It's all over the place.
And then he goes, I write, who's the bad guy? Who's the good guy? Who
During
is
this
who?
fight, by the way, I got to mention, the Godfather took off his shirt, and he's ripped like Bruce fucking Lee.
Yeah. What was
Like,
up
not
with
only
that?
does his
They
face
cast
and
the wrong
hair look
guy.
more
Yeah.
like Bruce, he's built like him, too. I don't get how this casting
I feel like he got real buff and he's like, I should be Bruce Lee. I should be. And they're like,
I feel
no,
like-
you're so much more a Mario Puzo.
I feel like he tried out for the role, and they were like, well, we're going to give it to another guy, but fuck, we got to put you in this.
Yeah, but
How do you feel about being Marlon Brando?
You wrote a book that became a Academy Award winning movie. you
Obviously,
know?
you're down here in hell.
Yeah, Bruce Lee never won an Academy Award.
No,
And he's like, okay, well,
that's fair.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
So Bruce is mad because he killed all the people with that rock rain. And then Wolfman is like, Wolfman actually says to Bruce, he goes, I'm going to poke you in the ass. Is what he says to him, like, oh, no, not again. No more assholes on camera. And then he sicks his mummy army on him.
Sorry, Mike, there's going to be a lot more assholes on camera. But Bruce isn't alone in this one. For the big final fight, he gets joined by his friends. Popeye, Indy, and Fang
Oh,
King.
you mean that copyrighted Popeye music that
Absolutely.
shows up?
Because we full on get the Popeye in mortal danger reaching for the can of spinach.
Yeah.
Full with the ba-da-ba-da-da-da-da.
Yep.
The only thing we
Pretty
didn't get is
much.
like an image in his bicep,
They couldn't do that.
which is unfortunate.
They're like, they didn't rob the right prop house. They didn't get that one. And so, yeah. And also, by the way, it looks like the whole movie, this guy just wrote a fucking Sharpie anchor on his arm. Like,
Absolutely.
Just, we got to get somebody to
doing-
put it on and look like Popeye. But on
His,
the other arm. See, it's not copyright because it's on the other side of the bicep.
Slightly different note. There's an extra tone in there. But yeah, and his version of Popeye fighting is very Three Stooges.
Yep.
Yeah, he's doing all the classics. He's doing the wind-up punches. It's pretty charming.
He also never
quite
takes the
frankly.
pipe out of his mouth.
And the guy playing Popeye, Eric Sang, ended up working with Jackie Chan and Sammo Hung and pretty much all those guys. He fit right in with the rest of them that were doing that style of comedic fighting. So he's actually pretty fun in this movie. He's not used a whole ton, but every time he's on screen, he seems to be the one guy who understands this is all just bullshit, man. Let's have some fun.
Yeah. So then Bruce fights the Wolfman. He wins. And then the good guys go after the king. Here's what's great. They corner the king in the desert level, and then all the townspeople run up, and the townspeople are like, kill him, kill him. I'm like, whoa. This is like a Roman, it's like a Roman gladiator, Colosseum show, and that they're like giving him the thumbs down, like, no, destroy, heads off, kill the guy. And Bruce is like, whoa. First of all, fuck all you people. King, can we make a deal? And he's like, yeah, what do you want? And he goes, can you just get me out of hell?
I'd like to go back to Earth.
Yeah, because the king goes like, I'll give you my throne. You can rule over hell or the afterlife or wherever we are, this Mulholland Drive dream. And he goes, I don't want that. I want to go back to Earth. And all the people, and he goes like, okay, but only you. And Bruce is like, yeah, fine.
Because first he's like, hey, can I go back with Popeye? And they're like, oh, obviously not. Popeye's a fictional character.
Yeah, they're like,
they're like, well, you can't go to Earth with Popeye.
Not in this masturbatory dream, son.
Yeah, they're going to have a hard enough time with the fact that Bruce Lee's coming back from the dead. He can't bring Popeye with him.
Now there's a horror movie for you.
Shit.
Some guy's having masturbatory dreams and he pulls out fictional characters from those. That's a real Freddy.
Man, that's downright terrifying, Mike. And so he does get granted his wish to leave, and so he throws a jump kick and then floats away like Mary Poppins.
Yep. Because the king, so the king goes, only you can go, and Bruce goes, that's fine.
And then
all the townspeople are like, what the fuck? And like the fruit cart girl's like, Bruce, I thought we had something going.
But
and
man,
he's like,
no love.
Just like
Bruce turned on all of them.
Pushes her face away almost.
Turns out Bruce was a giant dick.
And the king, he's like, okay, how do I get out of here? He goes, it's there. And just points toward the sky.
And off he goes.
Yeah, and then he goes, yay!
My home planet needs me. And it's literally, they have a dummy on like a wire going away slowly into the sky while everyone just looks up and like waves goodbye to Bruce.
And it's surprising it like didn't include the shot when it hit the side of the cliff. That would have been really funny as if they just showed the dummy hitting the cliff. He falls on the ground. And the king goes, there's no way out. There's no way out of hell.
That would be the best twist
You're all
ending.
dead, and you're all going to hell.
Goodbye.
Yeah.
I was hoping with all the licensed music they were jacking for this, they would have just put like "Let's Go Fly a Kite" or some bullshit at the end of this.
Or Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
Which is clearly what they're trying to do. He's like, Bruce, tap your. Oh wait, that's a little too on the nose.
Yeah.
Just fly out of here.
Just kick 3 people and then leave.
Just catch that. Hitch a ride on the next tornado. Come on out of here.
And he hits somebody with his dick foot and says, "I'm sorry, Linda," and then takes off.
So recommendations. Let's start with Man.
Not from me though.
Yeah.
That's a no from you, dog?
It's just too much. It's just overwhelming, and it's just too ridiculous for me. But that's personal taste. Everyone else, different folks,
Man,
different strokes.
You're not wrong. It is a horribly challenging watch.
Totally get that.
This is a terrible movie. It's terrible in every sense of the word.
Mm-hmm.
But for morbid curiosity, like I would say if you love Bruce Lee's dick, if
Who
you've always
doesn't?
been
This
fascinated
is the movie
by
you've
the
been
size of
dreaming
it, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you really like stories about Bruce Lee going to hell, or if you like copyright infringement from China. If you really like, this is the movie for you. If you really enjoy collecting like all sorts of torrents, and finding out whatever you can get to skirt the FBI.
Yeah,
really,
like
like,
a 4 terabyte drive and a good VPN.
When
Yeah.
someone
Then go
tells
for
you,
it.
"I want to show you this bootleg movie," it's not what you think.
Yeah.
They don't
Yeah.
mean what you think they mean when they say bootleg movie.
Yeah, it's like China didn't get it. They were like, oh, fuck, you're just supposed to steal the movie, not make your own. Oh, so yeah, if you're interested, check it out. I think there's a copy on YouTube that's like horribly like in quality. We watched a DVD version, which Bobby owns.
Absolutely. And soon I'll own that Blu-ray because I'll balance out our reviews here. I fucking loved it.
Yeah, you better get it
That
before
doesn't
that
shock
cease and
anybody.
desist.
I am all about this movie. I love it for the same reasons man didn't like it. And that's the beauty of this.
No, I can see that.
So we represent all three. You're kind of in the middle. Mike,
Yeah.
you were saying like, yeah, maybe check it out. I'm saying run, don't walk. And you're saying sleep, don't watch.
I gotta say, I am not the biggest martial arts movie fan. Like,
It's
I'm
okay, this
not
barely
a
is one.
big. Yeah, I'm just not a big.
You don't like martial arts movies?
not like a huge fan.
Okay,
They're fine,
okay.
but it's got to be the right one.
It's not your style of grindhouse picture.
No. Oh well, you know damn well there's hundreds of them, and they are almost all unwatchable, like to a point of being very, very bad. You got to find the right ones.
Oh, totally. It all depends on the watching experience. Like I went and saw 36 Chamber of Shaolin with RZA in person doing
wow.
a rescore
Cool.
using nothing but Wu-Tang music.
Oh, it's fucking cool.
It was at Beyond Fest in Los Angeles. It
Yeah.
was fucking amazing. It was
Awesome.
so cool.
Okay, I'll back that.
And I don't know if I can watch it without it now. It's like that's the best possible way to watch that movie.
So man, if you had to compare this to the other Bruceploitation movie,
Ooh, that's interesting. I wasn't on that
it's
episode, so I'm
painful.
interested in hearing.
let's
Oh,
hear
man.
which one is worse.
Oh God, Jesus.
If you had to watch one more, so if you went to Hell Afterlife, which is just China, and there's a shop on the street, and some guy goes, as part of your initiation into this
Legend of Bruce
hellscape,
Lee.
you're going to.
So you
You didn't
prefer?
even let me finish.
You prefer Bruce slapping a cobra to Bruce's cobra slapping someone?
Yeah,
Huh?
Yeah, it's
So
more
Chris
coherent to me.
enjoys Bruce doing the cobra slapping.
yeah, it's more coherent.
Yeah. Okay.
And the guy with the wispy beard was hilarious.
The dubbing was much worse in that movie too.
Yeah, which is I think why it's funnier to me.
How Bruce had that. He has an Australian friend in that movie.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, Bruce, we're gonna go stab a guy.
Absolutely. I'm gonna be the opposite. I liked this one more. It's just a little crazier for
You
me.
watched that other one?
Yeah, I told you guys
Oh,
that.
Bobby, no. No.
But yeah. So what about you, Mike? I mean, now we got to be the tiebreaker.
Oh, this
here.
one for sure.
This one over that one?
No. Do not watch Legend of Bruce Lee. That is
Whatever you do.
garbage.
The color drained out of Mike's face when I said I'd seen it.
and
I
his
can't
dick.
believe you've watched that movie.
He turned
Willingly?
as gray as Dracula.
I did that in honor of our good listener who sent that to us. I promised him we'd put it on the bin, and boy, was that a challenge.
I'm sorry I wasn't there for that
But
one.
I'm a man of my word.
Yeah,
If nothing else.
Yeah. I might get to it late, like the binnies, but I'm a man of my fucking word.
Hey.
You know?
the Bennies happened, and we're better off for it.
You hear that sound, Chris?
I
How do you
do.
think that Bobby and DeVito fit in the world of this?
Well, being that it is like an underworld hell situation and things just don't go their way, I would say it's their own version of hell. So I think they would be able to chloroform women, but they would just never be able to finish.
Yeah. I would think this, Chris. I would think there's a new king in town.
That's what I was
All
going
of a
to
sudden
say.
you hear, "Dun-dun, dun-dun, dun-dun," and you see the straight arrow roll in, and he goes, "You know about this palace? You know, I gotta say, DeVito, this palace is fine and all. I like this big stick I can hump, but I think this needs a little bit of shag. You know, we need to bring this into modern day."
You know, since the tub disappeared, let's put a waterbed right here.
Oh, that tub becomes a waterbed. The whole
Nice.
thing,
Very
waterbed,
good.
shag everywhere.
Is there an under new management sign hanging outside the restaurant in the
And like
underworld?
the groovy font.
Yeah, Bobby. It says under new management, and there's a picture of a man on top of a woman.
I'll piggyback on that a little bit. And I envision when
yeah.
they get there, because they have to die
Oh,
first.
that's true.
From one of our various myriad of other ways that they have passed away in previous episodes. You see two beds with sheets over them, and the nunchuck is visibly posting up, and they go, "More people with nunchucks?" And they pull back the blankets and go, "Oh, God."
DeVito, look, it's bigger in hell.
Hey, come shake this pillow, see if it causes an earthquake.
Well, thank you again for joining us on another episode of Grindbin. This was a Patreon select movie. If you want to select a movie, you can join our Patreon on certain tiers, and you will get to select a movie that's on the Grindbin.
Absolutely. You could be just like our friend Richard Garcia, who made us watch this movie, and thank you, Richard. As I said at the beginning of the episode, if you're in the Southern California area and you can make it to Pasadena, April 13th through the 15th for Monster Palooza at the Pasadena Convention Center, Richard will be there. We'll be walking around there most likely. I know I definitely will. Probably Mike.
will be there.
Definitely not Man. But yeah, come fight us all.
Chris is going to be there. He'll be hanging out the Linda Blair table.
Yeah.
Just,
I'll be doing catering.
yeah. He'll be talking to her about dogs the whole time. Chris is a cat guy.
Yeah.
So.
I'll be like, what do you have? You have something wrong? Something against cats, Linda? Do you? Do you?
Chris is just going to be quoting stuff at her the whole time. He's like, I love playing games. He's going to say stuff like,
Hello, boys.
Hello, boys. I can't be with a drunk.
Okay, now can we talk about Bruce Lee's dick?
Hey, Bobby, I got the money.
Yeah, I mean the key. But you're a hooker.
Get that goddamn